All right, welcome everyone to Dawson Park, where we are watching the third and final game of this series between the Clemson Tigers Divisional II Baseball Club and the Florida A&M Rattlers. I am your commentator, Brian Warner. I was here for the first two games yesterday, and I will be joining and hopefully narrating this beautiful adventure that we'll be on for Game 3. So I do apologize if there's a little bit of a delay in the sound. As always, we are running this, Kalani and me, trying to make sure we can provide you guys the best content we can, no matter where you are watching this, whether it is here in Clemson, whether it is on YouTube, whether it is over in the Northeast, the West Coast, wherever you are, we try to provide the best we can. And as we come into today's game, this will be a fun one. The Clemson Tigers, who have already secured the series victory, winning yesterday by a score of 8-6 in Game 1 and a score of 14-5 in Game 2. They will be looking to try and finish off a sweep of the Rattlers. However, the Rattlers, who showed a little fight in both of those games, the second one not quite as much as the first, are a nasty foe to try and get down. They are very tough to rattle, if that is one way you want to say it. But no, we are here. We're excited to watch as Brody Gisandi steps on the mound and delivers the first pitch to Nico Taylor that is low, below the strike zone. As we are here, we have a few different position changes. I'm kind of picking them up while I'm looking at the mound. I believe Michael Pritchard, who was a relief pitcher in Game 1 and then played first base in Game 2, is back at first as the first baseman for the Tigers, as Brody's second pitch is low and away. Behind the plate is the same catcher from Game 2, which will be, leave me to pull up the roster real quick. Behind the plate is Will Berlin. As Brody's pitch is down the middle, and that is a strike. So 2-1 count here to Nico Taylor. At short will be Caleb Evans, number 5. At third, I believe was Lawson Ivy, number 13. And at second is J.D. Renero at 19. As Brody pitches a second strike in a row, bring this count to 2-2. So the weather's not too bad. We're going to be pretty much in the 60s all game. Not as sunny as yesterday. A little bit of wind, a little bit of cool chill. That ball is low, bringing us to a full count. So if you didn't see Brody yesterday, Brody played third, I believe, both games. So now he'll be seeing on the mound for his first appearance during this series. And that one is blown by Nico Taylor. Gorgeous pitch by Brody. Taylor will be retired for the first, as Taylor gives a little bit of insight, maybe a little bit of pep talk, maybe it's a little bit of like, hey, this is what I saw, tipped off the pitch maybe. Maybe you saw something like that Brody does that maybe tips off a slider or a curveball, as he gives it to Miles Green, the catcher for the Rattlers. As Miles Green will be stepping up. And Brody goes in, Miles hits it. Maybe what Taylor told him worked. Maybe it did really help with the hit. Well, I guess we'll have to see how this at-bat ends to fully get the answer. As the count is 0-1, 1 out for the Rattlers in the top of the first. This game is only one game today, but it will be a 7-inning game. As that is a pretty pitch by Brody. Almost had Green swinging. Green decided to choke back a little bit. Asked the umpire, I guess where the strike zone boundary is, and the ump said, okay, this is where it is, and Green said, all right, I guess that's where it is. But here we go with Brody coming up for his pitch. Winding up. A little outside to the right. Hit the dirt a little bit. I should bring this to 1-2. You kind of see Brody testing a little bit of that off-speed pitch. We saw it in the warm-ups, too. And he was kind of hitting them in the warm-ups. He was able to get them through. It's just trying to find it now with that batter in the box. is a little different than when you're just pitching to your catcher on the practice mound. His green shot goes down the third base line, but it's foul. As Brody's deciding the pitch, he winds up, and then the batter, Miles Green, calls time. Umpire emphatically says time. Love the energy on this type of day. So Will kind of adjusts his stance, and Brody delivers just outside of the plate. Maybe trying to get Miles Green to swing at a few. I think last game he swung at a few, if I remember correctly. So maybe Brody's trying to use that to his advantage, get him to chase on this hopeful strike 3 as the count is 2-2. He winds up, throws it in. It's stroked to the right field, and we almost have our first ball back. Actually, we might have our first ball back into the highway since yesterday, folks. If you were not here yesterday watching either game, the highway got a lot of action, as there were probably about 15 to 20 balls hit across the highway that is only about maybe 50 yards behind us. And then the other 10 or 15 that were foul probably went into the woods that is on our left. So you either lose a ball in the woods or hopefully lose a ball across the highway. Luckily so far, no one has been hit, which is what we really aim to try and not have happen, as Green's ball goes into the woods on the left side, as I was just talking about that. So Green fighting off, which if, again, you did not watch yesterday's game or were not able to catch it, the Rattlers and Clemson as well had this. It was just a lot of fight from the batters on both sides of the ball. One of the guys who I officially nicknamed, in my own personal terms, the fighter, was Carter Rooms, who had over a 10-pitch at-bat, which looks what Miles might do, except this one is struck between shortstop and third base. The left fielder gets the ball, brings it into Caleb Evans, and Miles Green, the second batter for the Rattlers, will start this inning off well with a long at-bat that ends in a single to left field. Now, the Rattlers will probably trying to look to jump to an early lead, because if you let Clemson get hot at any point in this game, it is not a good time. Clemson has pretty much, they just unload at one point or another. I think there was an inning yesterday that it was the bottom of the first, and they scored 7 runs after the Rattlers scored 1 in the top of that first inning of the game. I believe this is Bryant Rooms stepping into the plate. Brian Reams yesterday in the first and second game had played the outfield, and now he is stepping back in this batter's box, hopefully trying to advance Miles Green, who takes a little bit of a lead, but the pickoff attempt is no good. Good try by Brody. If you also didn't watch the second game, I know I'm calling that back. We had a ton of pickoff attempts. I think it was about probably 8 to 10 in that first game from Nico Taylor, as Rooms' pitch is fouled off to the left. I was talking to Kalani, our graphics specialist, and the guy that really helps us set up this entire production, which we are very thankful, so that you guys can see this live stream and we can call it as students. But I was talking to him yesterday, and I was like, I may try to attempt live on air to catch a ball if it comes close enough to me in foul territory. So if you hear me running, that is probably what I'm doing. I am not running away from the game. I'm just running to try and catch a ball and be a part of this action, as that ball is inside. And Green will be able to take second. Even though Will blocked it, it wasn't quite in his glove. Green took off, got second base. Now, the Rattlers in the second game were a little bit more aggressive, if you guys did not watch. They were taking a little bit more aggressive leads. They were doing double steals with players that they felt comfortable could steal both second and third. They would do it back-to-back, so don't be shocked here if that's what they try to do now. I mean, first game, you're kind of testing out. That's what the Rattlers did. They weren't quite as aggressive, seeing how Clemson is. Now, talking to Kendall, their starting pitcher for the game 1 yesterday, Kendall did say as that shot is hit as a pop-up to second baseman. JD is coming in, but instead it's Caleb Evans who calls him off and makes the catch right in front of the second base bag. But as we were talking yesterday, the Rattlers kind of took it easy in that first game, and Kendall Gandy, the starting pitcher in game 1 for the Tigers, said yesterday that when they feel hot as the Clemson team, when they feel hot, they get hot and they pounce on a team, which has really helped them become in the top 25 ranked teams in the nation, as they sit at, I believe, 21, Kendall told me, in the nation here. So you are watching one of the best teams in the U.S. play baseball right now for this Division II conference. as Brody will be facing Michael Daniels, who makes a shot right past the shortstop and Caleb Evans right through the gap. As Miles Green will be waved home. Cutoff man is Lawson Ivy. Lawson Ivy cuts it off, sends it to 2. And Michael Daniels, who was kind of a unsung hero, was there, makes the double and gets an RBI to put the Rattlers on the board 1-0. As JD thought he may have sneakily tagged him under the slide, as Michael Daniels kind of gives a little dance celebrating that. And the reason why I said kind of like an unsung hero is because they didn't win a game like we talked about, but he did have a 2-run shot in the first game that gave him a little bit of momentum. And he was hitting the ball pretty much like crazy in the second game as well. So, I mean, he's just kind of an on-base machine as Brody faces Wellington Henn, the starting pitcher from Game 1 yesterday, who went into 123 pitches in that Game 1 in the Rattlers' loss. But Wellington Henn, who's also had some pretty good contact on the bat in these last 2 games, is already starting off in an 0-1 count with a runner on second, 1 out. 2 outs. As now Brody is up 0-2 in this count. But with Wellington pitching 123 pitches yesterday in Game 1, he will not be pitching today. I believe I saw in the bullpen it was Stephon Duvall, who was the first baseman the last 2 games. We will see that in the bottom of the inning. As Michael Daniels shows run, but does not. He does not steal. And that ball will be low for a count of 1-2. Brody gets set, checks second. JD comes in, but Wellington is a swing and miss, and that will retire the side, leaving a runner stranded on second. But it doesn't keep the Rattlers from scoring a run. They're up 1-0 heading into the bottom of the first, as the Tigers look to try and get out of a deficit early. Head into this bottom of the first. Stephon Duvall. I guess I picked out the correct pitcher when he was pitching. Stephon Duvall will be pitching for the Rattlers as he faces Caleb Evans, the shortstop for the Tigers. Duvall winds up, pitches it right little low and inside. Trying to paint that inside part of the box. Maybe also trying to get Caleb Evans a little bit off the box. Sometimes pitchers do that. They'll try and throw a ball inside to back him up. As Caleb Evans turns on that inside pitch, bounces down the third base line, and gets fair. Caleb will be thrown to second. He'll be waved in. Throw is off, and Caleb starts the day. Second pitch of the at-bat with a double. Now, if you guys were not watching yesterday, Caleb Evans came one hit away from getting a cycle. And now a cycle is when a player hits a single, double, triple, and home run in the same game. He had started off with a 2-run shot as the leadoff batter in game 2. A solo home run on it was one of the first few pitches of the at-bat. He started that off at the top of the first, leading to that 7-run inning. As Will Berlin, the catcher, hits a pop-up going to third as Mark Hohen calls it off, makes the catch, and keeps Caleb Evans at second. Like I was saying yesterday, in game 2, Caleb Evans starts the game as the leadoff batter in the first inning, hits a solo shot to deep center, and then later hit a double and a single. So he was only looking for a triple. Unfortunately, could not get it in his last at-bat. Had a solid shot, but ended up being a grounder. It was a pop-up. I just remember he got out before he was able to get to first. But nonetheless, he starts out today just as hot practically as yesterday with a double. As Lawson Ivy turns on one, goes to the shortstop, makes a great defensive play, throws it to first, and is out in time, but it advances Caleb Evans to third. These Clemson Tigers are making contact. Might not be fair, might not be a safe play, it might just be outs that they're getting, but they're advancing runners and making contact off of Duvall off the first 3 batters. As we see the pitcher, it's going to be pitcher on pitcher this at-bat, as Brody is facing off against Stefan. Stefan throws it in, and Brody gets a piece of it, but it is dropped by the second baseman, Andres. Caleb Evans will score. They will tie the game at 1. And off of an error, albeit a tough play, Brody makes it on the bag, giving the Tigers another tie, bringing it right back to 1-1 and giving them another runner on base. As Michael Pritchard, the first baseman for the Tigers, will step up to the plate. Duvall only 5 pitches in. Might be 6 pitches according to Game Changer. Miles Green pump fakes the first to keep Brody from trying to steal or trying to get a bigger lead. As I believe, like I said, only 6 pitches in, and he had already given up a run and 2 batters on ball. He's obviously now at 8 pitches, as that one is inside for the second ball of the at-bat, 2-0. Brody with a very conservative lead. As Michael with a very good eye keeps the count at 3-0. Brody's only probably a step and a half off the base, it seems like. Stride and a half. So he is not risking it at all, which makes sense with 2 outs. Again, Michael Pritchard to hit it into the gap in right center field, but he lets that one, watches it, which is fair at a 3-0 count. Make it 3-1 as that ball is down the middle. Most people probably look at that and go, why don't you turn on it? Well, batters typically in a 3-0 situation tend to be a little bit more patient. It's what you want to do, because you don't want to hit a bad hit, especially when you're up in the count by that much. As Brody takes off, ball is to the left. Oh, not a horrible throw, but not in the right area, and Brody gets in standing up. That is strike 2. And all of a sudden, this is a full count. Duvall has been able to kind of claw his way back into the ability to either strike out, get out of this inning, only giving up 1. As he checks Brody at second. Michael turns on it. Ball looked like it was going to be a little inside, but as we talk about when you have 2 strikes, the hitter tends to be a little bit of a different mindset than when he has 3 balls and no strikes. When you're kind of at that 2-strike limit, it doesn't matter how many balls you have. You got to defend the plate, because if not, you're going to strike out looking, and that is probably the worst thing you can do on a baseball field as a batter. You just sit there and watch a strike three. Duvall checks Brody. And Pritchard hits a pop-up, but I believe that is foul over by us. But unfortunately, I am not speed, and I cannot get there to catch the ball. That was over by the batting cage. And as this full count continues to extend this at bat, as Michael keeps fouling it off, I wouldn't be shocked to see an off-speed pitch here by Duvall. But that is a fastball, and that one is hit once again foul to the left. Into the woods, hits a tree. Holy. Get out there. As Brody is just probably licking his chops to come home as he's sitting there on second. Andreas, the second baseman for the Rattlers, I believe, kind of sneaking in behind second, but then he goes back to his position as Duvall throws it. It is ball four. What an at-bat by Michael Pritchard to fight off. He had a 3-0 count. Pitcher Stefan clawed his way back as Miles Green will take a timeout to talk to Duvall, give him a little bit of encouragement. Michael Pritchard fought his way through, had a few foul balls, and then got rewarded with a walk. As that at-bat alone had more pitches than the first three batters combined for Duvall, as Ryan Stakowitz will step to the plate. A lefty from Massachusetts. Duvall looks back to Brody. Brody kind of gives a little bit of a run, and that ball is inside. Shocked it didn't hit Ryan. Maybe grazed his arm. But luckily, he dodged just in time. As that will be a 1-0 count with a runner on first and second. This is a good opportunity for both teams. The Tigers, you have a runner in scoring position and 2 runners on base. And for the Rattlers, you need 1 out, and you have a force out possibly at first, second, or third if this ball is put in play. That ball is up and away from Ryan. Great patience. When I was in Little League, sometimes I used to try and swing at those. I think it was always the best pitch, and then all of a sudden you're like, shoot, that ball did not come where I thought it was. Duvall lines up, and Ryan hits that one over our heads and back into the woods. Luckily, so far today, while the highway is a little bit busier than yesterday, all these balls, luckily, are going to the woods. Let's hopefully keep it that way so no one gets hit or hurt. But Duvall lines up, pitches a pitch. Again, high and away, Miles pump fakes the throw to second as Brody's lead. A little aggressive kind of thrown out there, but I do appreciate the aggression by Clemson. I mean, they said it is pedal to the metal, all gas, no brake. That's how they phrased it. Brody fakes the run again, and Ryan fights off another pitch, bringing it to full count. And Duvall, who is between the last 2 batters, not new, or not a stranger to these full count scenarios, is once again going into a long at-bat. A 5+ pitch at-bat right now. I'm Stefan. I'm looking to probably go low and inside, but it looks like Miles Green is setting up outside as Brody takes off to third. And that will be ball 4, so the steal for Brody, which I guess he was hoping to have, does not matter anyway, as it is a walk for Ryan Stakowitz. Now the Tigers with a 2-out rally here. Having the game tied at 1-1, Aiden Baxter is coming up to the plate with an opportunity to hopefully get in 1, if not more runs, if he can just put the ball in play, which he was able to do yesterday pretty well, as bases are loaded. I know a lot of parents, possibly college students, are not happy with these dirty uniforms, but it shows the grit and the fight that these Tigers have as they're going on. Not necessarily not happy, probably a little stressed when thinking about cleaning them, but we're here no matter what. And Duvall pitches. Aiden hits a ball straight past the third baseman. That will score 1. Michael Pritchard is waved home. That will score 2. As Ryan goes to third, the ball will pass the cutoff, and Aiden Baxter with a 2 RBI double delivers in the moment, sending Brody and Michael home for the Tigers, giving them a 3-1 lead. As Aiden Baxter is at second, Ryan Stakowitz is at third, and the umpire was sharing some information, but I don't quite know. Not quite on the field for that one, unfortunately. Some type of talk But it seems like the umps are having a good time, and that's all you can really ask for right now. As we have a new batter at the plate, and I need to find out. It is Braden Ward, the freshman out of Fairhaven, New Jersey. As that pitch is high, Ryan stays at third. As we hear some jokes and laughter from behind the plate right now between the catcher and the umpire, which is always fun in games because this is, after all, just an exciting game. It is a competitive atmosphere, so you do want to win. At the same time, we're all college students. I mean, heck, Kendall was telling me that they have 3 mechanical engineers on Clemson's team, and I'm sure Florida A&M Rattlers have very similar circumstances where you have engineers or non-sports related majors. As Duvall pitches that one in, and it is a swing and a miss by Braden, but good pitch high and in. Miles gives him a little bit of encouragement, like, yeah, go ahead, kind of cheer him on. Ball gets set. A little bit of a longer pause. Throws that in, and it is outside, but hits the strike zone. I'll be honest, I did not see that as a strike. But, again, so I'm not behind the plate. There's a good pitch by Duvall to hit that edge of the strike zone, which seemed to be what Wellington was doing a lot yesterday, too. Wellington Hen in that first game. Duvall will line back up. And that ball is hit to second base and bounces over the head. Off the mitt. One will score. Aiden Baxter is waved home, and he is out, unfortunately. What a throw by the right fielder for the Rattlers. I was weaving and diving, dodging holes and objects to try and figure out if Aiden was being sent home, and he was, and he was thrown out by quite a few steps. I like the aggression by Clemson, but that will, I believe, also cancel out the first run that scored, which was Ryan Stakowitz. It was a great throw. It was a great throw by them, but we head into the top of the second as the Tigers still put up 3 runs, getting back the lead and making this ball game 3-1 going into the second. As we enter into this bottom or the top of the second here, Brody is still on the mound, which is good to see, and should still be on the mound as Carter Room steps into the plate. That one is low and away, and that is ball 1. Now, I would like to make a correction of the score. The score is 4-1. Had to search it up a little bit, but it does count if 2 runners are on the base as Brody winds up for this pitch. And that one was in the shot, but that is hit to third base as Lawson gets it, throws it, and Carter is out. A little uncharacteristic at bat, but still nonetheless has a good piece of hitting. But a better defensive play by Lawson Ivy. And like I was saying, the score is 4-1, not 3-1. Tigers did put up 4, and that is because on that final play, we had a runner on second, a runner on third, and that single did count because the batter did hit the first base, which means that it was a timing play. Now, what does a timing play mean? Essentially, if there are 2 outs in an at-bat, as that one comes really close inside for ball 1, and it was a good dodge by Mark Hohen, who's at bat for the Rattlers. A timing play essentially means that once the batter gets on base and is safe, any run before the final out does count. So as the runner that hit first at that moment, I think it was Braden Ward, he was safe. The play was then made at the plate, but before Aiden was tagged, Ryan Stakowicz was able to score before that tag happened, meaning that the run does count, giving the Tigers their 4th run, but the out also counts, meaning that the inning was over. As Mark Hohen fouls that one into the highway that almost struck a car. Good grief. Bounced right over the hood. Holy. We are already racking up our numbers for the highway. But as this score is 4-1, 1 out, and a 1-2 count to Mark Hohen, that one strikes him out. What a pitch by Brody. In the far and away corner of the strike zone. I do hope I could explain that timing play a little bit better, as that's what I understood. But all you really need to know here is not how it happened, but that it happened, and that was the fact that the Clemson Tigers are up 4-1 with 2 outs at the top of this second inning. Second baseman for the Rattlers, Andreas Mayasonet, steps up to the plate. I apologize if I am butchering your name. Brody pitches that one inside, and that one will be up and foul, going right and bouncing, taking a wild bounce past the bullpen. As Andreas steps into an 0-1 count, no runners on base, 2-out situation. The Rattlers don't want this game to get too out of hand like it did yesterday. This game is kind of following a very similar Game 2 script, as Brody pitches that one right inside. Right down the middle, I should say, inside the strike zone to get strike 2 and putting Andreas in a hole of an 0-2 count. Just like yesterday's second game, Rattlers had a little bit of momentum, scoring 1 in the first, because that one is low and away for ball 1. Rattlers had a little bit of momentum scoring first in that first inning, but then all of a sudden the Tigers exploded with the 7-run bottom of the first inning. And I think some of those runs were even in a 2-out rally, very similar to this game, as that one is fouled back by Andreas. Good fight at the plate. Right now, this game script seems to be following that Game 2 script yesterday very similarly, almost like a mirror. So for the Rattlers, you're looking to hopefully get some momentum back before it goes fully to the Tigers side. Brody gets set, winds up, delivers a pitch. And that will be ball 2. Far and away. This highway is a little bit busier now at 11 a.m. It's going to take just about 11:30. Hoping that all foul balls do not hit there. So that is a pretty pitch on the outside, and Brody strikes out Andreas looking. And the Tigers will retire the Rattlers. 3 batters up, 3 batters out. And we will head into the bottom of the second. Your Clemson Tigers leading 4-1 here at Dawson Park. So we entered this bottom of the second inning. Tigers having a little bit of momentum. Duvall is back on the mound. That is a stroked shot. Deep left field. His left fielder makes the catch at the warning track. It's J.D. Rennero, who seemed to just keep getting contact in these last few games, specifically Game 2 and Game 3. But every time he gets contact, he has these deep shots that go all the way back into the outfield and just unfortunately are just like a few feet away from hitting that home run fence. One of these times, you got to think that the odds will come for JD and he will be able to stroke a decent shot, whether it is a double, a single, a triple, or a home run, as the Tigers face the top of the order with Caleb Evans as Duvall. Nice pitch on the outside for strike one. If there's anyone I'm rooting for to get a home run, it'd have to be anyone in Clemson or anyone here, but specifically J.D. Rennero, as he's come so close in his last few at-bats across this series. As that ball was low and away, looked like Duvall tried doing a very similar location of that pitch, but that one was just slightly outside. As Caleb Evans, who started the game with a double, looked to try and stay hot at 100% hitting rate. As that one is inside, up and away, or up and inside, I should say. Caleb kind of had to do a little bit of a matrix move to dodge that one. This count is 2-1. Oh, we'll pitch that in. Caleb will swing. That is deep left field. The left fielder is running back. He will attempt to catch it, and that ball is gone. Caleb Evans mashes a left field homer. His second of the series, his second game in a row with a home run, specifically a solo home run. Caleb adds some firepower to this lead for the Clemson Tigers. As he comes back to the home plate, taps, and he will get helmet taps all the way throughout the lineup. As he celebrates that homer. I mean, that was just a gorgeous struck ball. Just I was saying, J.D. Rennero, who has come so close to home runs, Caleb Evans has been the one so far for the Tigers to deliver those home runs. He is on a heater so far. As we still see Will Berlin, the catcher, step up to the plate. And it seems as if Duvall has a little bit of a smile, maybe? Very interesting after home run. I guess he's trying to laugh it off. Oh, that foul ball might be coming close to me. I probably could have attempted to catch that. I was a little too late on my release. But Will Berlin with the foul ball. Give this count 0-1. Caleb Evans, mind you, is already back on hit watch. Cycle watch, I should say. He has a double and a home run. If he can get a single and a triple, he is 2 hits away from completing the cycle, which is something he came so close to yesterday. But I would argue out of all those hits, the hardest one to do is a triple. As that ball is in the side, Will Berlin will foul that one off towards the parking lot. And it will bounce past a car and almost into the highway. Folks, I drove here and I parked very close to there, but luckily I parked a little bit farther away because I had a feeling there'd be a lot of foul balls that go that side. I'm not saying my car is pretty enough not to get hit, but I sure as heck do not want to pay that bill because that ball is outside. As Will Berlin will have a, I believe, 2-2 count coming into this. The ball winds up, pitches, and Berlin turns on one, and that is through the gap between short and third. As Berlin will at least get a single. Left fielder bobbers just a tad. Will get it into shortstop. As Berlin with a single. So after the warning track out, Caleb Evans home run, and now a single from Berlin. The Tigers are starting to get hot as Lawson Ivy steps up to the plate. And it looks like they will pinch run Will Berlin for Jace Coleman. Jace Coleman, who had started at short in Game 1 yesterday, did not play much in Game 2 as they were switching up the lineups, and will now be on base running for Will Berlin. Once again, I am not a mind reader, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing these names correctly. I try my best here. Lawson Ivy will look to try and hit this. And that is inside. Lawson doesn't even flinch. He's like, ball, if you want to hit me, hit me. Give me my bag. Jace Coleman is standing on the bag right now. Duvall kind of takes a look at him. As Duvall peers over. Jace Coleman only about maybe 2.5 strides off the bag. Not too aggressive, because that ball is high. Now, I would not be shocked at all, because there doesn't seem anyone kind of coming towards the bag for second or short. They do seem to be pinched in a little bit into the middle. Maybe trying to, in the case that Jace runs, but I would not be shocked at all if Jace decides to take off in a pitch or two. As he gets a little bit of a lead, and Will Berlin pops it up. It's going into the middle infield. Shortstop will call it off as the hat drops, and he will make the catch. I believe that's Carter Rooms who made the pop-out catch for the Rattlers, bringing the second out of the inning. As pitcher Brody Jasandi will step up to the plate for the Tigers, hopefully trying to extend this inning that is now at 2 outs. The runner on first. I believe after seeing some of those foul balls, there are fans that are trying to move their car away. As that pitch is inside. On the outside of the strike zone to Brody, and Duvall gets strike one. Vaughn loads up, winds up, hits it, and Brody fouls it down the left field line. A little bit of a chopper. The highway is steadily busy right now. Ball winds up, releases that, and man, Brody strokes one into center. It will bounce in as Jace Coleman is sent to third, standing up, and Brody will stay at first. And that will be a single for Brody. A beautifully struck ball into center field. Bounces right before the center fielder can get to it. Center fielder fields it, throws it in. The throw is a little off. But I think Jace may have made that bag anyway, as Jace advances from first to third. The Tigers all of a sudden have another runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Is this another 2-out rally similar to the first inning? Almost seems kind of like how Kendall talked about yesterday. As the pressure gets on, these Tigers do not back down, and they're essentially just diamonds out here facing these pressures and living up to the moments. As Michael Pritchard checks his swing, and it's a good eye. That ball is low. As the umpire checks with the infield umpire that's behind the pitcher right now. The infield umpire says he did not swing, that his swing did not break. For those of you that may not know, a broken swing is essentially when that swing crosses halfway. In other words, his wrist rotates to show that he went halfway through his swing. And in that moment, Brody steals second, slides in, but the throw was not there. Miles decided to pump it so that the runner at third, Jace, would not run. But once that batter breaks his wrist rotates, and he goes halfway through the swing, that is counted as a swing. Think about it of like passing halfway, and it's an automatic full swing. Michael was good at holding it back the last pitch. And now he faces a 2-0 count, as Michael had a long at-bat last inning that resulted in a walk. He is a fantastic eye, it seems, today, as he always does in the last 2 games as well. That one is inside, too. I mean, Michael Pritchard has just had a hawkeye for this zone in the last few games. As the Tigers now have 2 runners in scoring position. I know last time we talked about not sending someone with 2 outs for stealing a bag, but typically when you're in a situation with a runner on first and third, you will send your first runner out there to hopefully get the catcher to throw an errant ball that will allow Jace Coleman or your third base runner to score. As Duvall sends that in the zone, and that one will be a pop-up kind of between the first baseman and right field. Going out there, 3 players are out there, and it will be foul as Andres, the second baseman, the right fielder for the Rattlers, and the first baseman for the Rattlers all sprinted out to try and catch that. That was about halfway down the right field line, out of bounds in the foul territory. But Michael Pritchard again showing the fight that he has at this plate with another 5+ pitch at bat. And like I was saying, you would send that first runner in hopes to get an errant throw by the catcher. It's why they steal from first to second no matter how many outs typically, to try and get that third base runner to score. However, that timing play that I talked about last inning does not include that unless your runner at third is very fast. So Michael Pritchard would take ball 3. And that is a 3-2 count. Once again, Michael Pritchard, no stranger to full counts, and Duvall not a stranger to facing full counts right now. Michael Pritchard will set up, get ready. And that one is high and inside, and Duvall once again is walked on a full count in a 6 or maybe 7 or 8 pitch at bat there. Michael Pritchard will be awarded his second on-base appearance, but technically, due to the stat sheet, not have an at-bat. If you are not familiar, a walk does not count as an at-bat. I do not know why. I guess baseball people just thought, why not let's throw a wrench into the things. But he will not have an at-bat, but he will have 2 walks and 2 plate bases appearances as Jace Coleman is coming home on a wild pitch and will get under the tag as the ball was missed, and so will Brody. Brody will be coming home. Tag will come in. And Brody will be safe as Michael Pritchard will go to third. So much happened on that play. I was not expecting it. A lower outside ball gets past the catcher, a little bit outside. Jace Coleman steals home, but the throw back to Duvall, who's at the bag, was missed. Ball rolls past, almost down to third base, as Brody rounding second with no hesitation, and then rounding third with no hesitation, or going from second, rounding third with no hesitation, comes home. And once again, the ball that is thrown to Duvall, who's at the plate, was missed. And the Tigers immediately score 2 off of an errant throw and advance their first base runner all the way to third. Now all of a sudden it's a 7-1 ball game. Ball's pitch is outside to Ryan Stakowicz. And if I'm being honest, I don't think any RBIs are rewarded there because that would be runs batted in. So just kind of going through my thought process there. But it is now a 7-1 lead, and Duvall seems to be a little shaken. Which, I mean, who wouldn't be all of a sudden when you have a 7-run jump off the bat in 2 innings? Duvall's trying to find that outside zone, maybe try to get Ryan to swing, but Ryan's patient. Ryan's been patient these last few at-bats. He's another one of those fighters. I mean, you say that about every player in Clemson. They're very patient, very good eye, and will not try to swing at much. So that is the 3rd straight high and away ball by Duvall. As Duvall is already nearing 50 pitches in this game just in 2 innings. As that ball is in the strike zone, but Ryan swings and misses. It is now a 3-2 full count. You got to think, you just got to get contact on the ball. Let's see if Ryan can just get a nice single. Outfield shifted to the right a little bit. There's kind of a gap between center and left field, so if Ryan can kind of pull it or push it, as he strokes that one into right field, that ball is going deep. Right fielder is out to find it. It hits before the warning track, hits the wall. Ryan will be on 2, holds up at 2, and gets an RBI for the Tigers, leading to the 4th run in this inning as Michael Pritchard will practically walk, if not maybe slightly jog to home, as that was a hit and a half by Ryan Stakowicz to get him standing up at second base. Now was beautifully struck right where I said to look for, or maybe on the other side of the ball, I should say. I said center left. He struck it center right. Now all of a sudden the Tigers have another runner in scoring position as Aiden Baxter, who had I believe 2 RBI. I know he had at least 1 RBI, but I think it was a 2 RBI single in the first inning. Is up to bat as that ball is a curveball way outside. Looked like it was going to break in the strike zone and then it ended up breaking a little bit too far. And Duvall just seems to be rattled as he's given up 4 runs in each inning he's shown right now, and he's hitting close to 55 pitches. This is not exactly the start you wanted as the Rattlers. And that went in the zone, and Aiden turns on it, but Maybe turns a little too quick as it goes foul down the left field line. That one rolls all the way to the wall. Let's see if Aiden can get a hit here. It just seems like the Tigers are being able to read every pitch that Duvall throws. They either watch it as the ball goes high or they turn on a ball that's in the zone. Duvall settles down. I mean, if you're Duvall here, you're just trying to get through the inning. You're at 2 outs. You've given up a 2-out rally right now. I believe 3 runs have been scored since those 2 outs have been recorded. And that ball's inside. It is now 2-1. I understand not throwing it in the zone, but you want to get some type of adrenaline, some type of momentum, some type of energy back into this Rattlers team. Duvall sets up, releases, and that one is in the zone. There you go. That's what you needed. If you're the Rattlers, Stefan maybe getting a little bit of confidence as he misses that ball. And Ryan, with a foot still on the bag, thought about running, kind of taps his chest, maybe thinking, oh, if I saw it a little bit earlier, maybe I could have got third. But I'm glad he didn't run because that would have been a little bit of a tough ball to get to. I think that third baseman was practically right on the bag. And that ball did not roll far away from the pitcher. Duvall looked to try and strike out Aiden here as Aiden pops that one up back to us. And that one was actually, I should have been able to catch that one. That one was up. But nonetheless, that is a foul ball, and Aiden continues to fight at this plate with a 2-2 count here in the second with 2 outs and a runner on second. So 2 must be the magical number here. Can Aiden Baxter possibly get 2 more runs in if he hits one over the fence? Duvall sends that in, and that one is right field foul. Right field line foul as that one bounces and hits the dune right before, or like the little mound, right before the highway. As we have a fan kind of walking around collecting foul balls, helping us out here, making sure all these balls get back to where they need to be. Duvall sets up for this long at-bat that has been extended as he throws a curveball, and that is a beautiful pitch. It left Aiden watching. But even I would have watched that pitch. That one started up practically at Aiden's head and dropped right into about his belt. That was a curveball, I believe, from Duvall. But it does not prevent the Tigers from scoring 4 runs in that inning, including Caleb Evans, who started the scoring with a solo homer over the left field fence. So far back, it went into the woods. Now will leave your Clemson Tigers leading 8-1 against the Rattlers. First pitch of this third inning. Brody has a little bit of a low ball. A little bit outside and in the zone. It should be inside and towards the batter. As I would like to make a correction, it is Wilbur Line, I've been told, and I do apologize for that mispronunciation. It's Ty Andrews, the left fielder, at least was the left fielder, yesterday for the last 2 games. For the Rattlers, fouls that one off, making the count 1-1. And I was right. The family either left or did move their car from that foul place. That is a pretty pitch outside to take Ty Andrews. Must have misread that first pitch, and that was a low and inside strike. So that was 3 pitches, 3 strikes for Brody. As I believe we are back to the Rattlers starting our top of the lineup with Nico Taylor here. Brody pitches another one right in the zone, but it was called high by the ump. I thought that was a breaking ball that struck in. Nonetheless, it is a 1-0 count with 1 out for Rattlers. So that looks to be a little bit of like a 2-seam, I think, as it kind of faded away. And that one is high as well. And that is a pretty pitch by Brody, right on the inside to get that first strike of the at-bat, as Nico was swing and miss there. Might see Nico kind of choke up on this bat a little bit. That is another one inside by Brody. Another good pitch that gets Nico swinging. I think I can tell a little bit that Nico's choking up on the bat. Usually when you choke up on that bat, it allows your barrel to come inside a little bit better, and I can explain that in a second. So Brody pitches the third pitch that's high and away. Or high and inside. So you can kind of notice, and when you choke up on a bat, typically that means that you will shift your hands a little bit higher on that handle. And when I was at least in Little League, they told us this, as Taylor calls time, they told us that the reason you choke up on this bat is so that you can turn a little quicker and your barrel can get in the strike zone a little quicker on those inside pitches, like that one. And that one is struck past the third base line, but it is foul. And so you can kind of see Nico and some of these batters that when these pitches are inside, they'll choke up on the bat so that when they turn, that barrel will have a better chance of being right in the zone. In fact, sometimes players will even buy longer bats just so they can choke up on it, which makes no sense to me. That one is high and inside, and Nico fights back to get a walk there on a full count. And after the first strikeout of Ty Andrews, the Rattlers now have a runner on first, as Miles Green, the catcher, will step into the plate. Brody's taking a peek. I want to see shocked. That's a good pitch right there by Brody. 0-1 count, and I would not be shocked at all to see Nico Taylor possibly take off here. Only about 3 strides off the bag, but Michael Pritchard is there ready for a pickoff. As Nico gets a big jump, Miles Green strikes that one into left field. And that is fair. That is fair in the line. Oh, they call it foul. I am dodging poles and pipes here as I'm looking through a fence. To me, I thought that was fair, but again, that's not why I'm an ump. I'm out here on the booth on the mic. You know, I saw the other night, though, that there was a thing they call, I think it's like glow-in-the-dark, or no, cosmetic, or comet? I think it's cosmic baseball, as they call it. And it is a glow-in-the-dark baseball league that kind of like a play on like the Savannah Bananas. If you don't know the Savannah Bananas, they're like a spin-off of a baseball game. Well, cosmic baseball is one even farther where they play in the dark with glow-in-the-dark balls and the glow-in-the-dark uniforms. As that one is hit into center field, straight between the gap as Nico Taylor get into second. Miles Green will fight off. That's Michael Pritchard showing a good sportsmanship and giving him a high five for that hit. Love to see it by Michael Pritchard. As time has been called, because Miles Green, who is a catcher, has to come out. And I assume, because they did this with Wilbur Line as well, I assume they do this so they can get ready and not have to hold up the game. I believe William Brown will be taking over as the pinch runner. Now you have a man on first, a man on second, 1 out. I believe Bryant Rooms is at the bag, or at the plate. Brody checks Taylor and goes in. That is a swing and a miss, as that's a pretty ball by Brody. But as I was saying, cosmic baseball, it's a glow-in-the-dark form of baseball, and I saw yesterday when I was scrolling Instagram, because that's what we do. I saw that they have a rule where no ball is out, no matter how far foul or how far fair. That ball is always in play. That is a second strike. A bit of a foul tip by Rooms. Brody's talking a little bit to the ump, maybe get a new ball. But yeah, so there was a foul ball that went into the stands, and the fan threw it into the third baseman, who threw it home and got the runner out on an attempted inside the park, if you will, home run. So I don't know if that also means that there are no home runs, or if it simply means that only foul balls, there is no foul. There is no foul ball. But I was not really that into it, as this is a 1-2 count. Wilberline sits up on the outside. Nico fakes the run. Will pumps. Pump fakes the ball. Did not matter. Nico Taylor kind of standing a little bit of a aggressive stance off the bag. He's kind of playing a little cat and mouse game, as that one is hit into shortstop third base area. Lawson makes the snag right on the foul line, and that will be the second batter retired for the Rattlers, as they will be looking at their fourth batter here. Michael Daniels, who rightfully so gets the cleanup spot for the Rattlers. He has been on fire and always seems to get hits when it matters. Can he get another run in, as he is also, I believe, responsible for the first run that came in this game? Already has 1 RBI on his belt, or under his belt. Can he get 1, possibly 2, maybe even 3 if he hits one hard enough, as he chases that one inside, but a good block by Will to keep that ball in front, keep Nico at second. Brody would attempt to pick off the Nico Taylor, but Nico Taylor saw it. Got back standing up. Smarter Brody to try and keep him there. Now Nico fakes the run, try and get people to jump off, maybe get a little bit of an errant throw, get a little stress. Seems like he's been doing that a lot right now with the bases, trying to play a little bit of cat and mouse game. As Brody steps off. Don't be shocked if Nico tries to sprint out there and look like he's stealing. Mind you, there's only been 1 pitch thrown right now to Michael Daniels, who's at an 0-1 count as he chases an insider. He goes playing a little bit of a game out there. That one's inside, but another great block by Berline. J.D. Raniero looks fed up with this Nico Taylor game. He's in there with his glove on his hip. And he's like, buddy, if you're going to run, run. If you're not going to run, just stay at the bag. But it's a smart move by the Rattlers. He's clapping, he's looking. Brody throws a pitch. It does not rattle Brody at all. That time, that pun was not intended. This is a 1-2 count. Runner on first, runner on second, 2 outs. Not be shocked at all to see Michael Daniels hit one possibly in the right center field gap. That one is fouled off. It's right off of Will's helmet. Shifts his mask. Hopefully he's okay. He's kind of shaking it off. Or going to see if Will's doing okay. Seems to be doing good. It's good to see, as it kind of, hopefully what it looked like is it hit the side of the mask and just popped it and misaligned it, if you will. Luckily, I think hopefully it didn't hit his head. But Will getting back into a 1-2 count. No matter how many foul balls there are, it is once again 1-2. Brody winds up, throws it in, and that is foul tipped once again. Michael Daniels fighting at this plate, trying to keep the Rattlers' hope alive at least a little bit, maybe keep them in the game. You get a 3-run shot, all of a sudden it is a 4-run ball game. You know, that still sounds like a big lead, It does cut this lead in practically half. We need to even get one run, just get a little bit of energy on your side of the ball, because right now their dugout's a little quiet. Because I feel like I'm the only one you can hear on this whole thing. Nonetheless, Brody looks back. He fakes the run again, and that was a breaking ball that just went a little too far outside, but another good block by Will. Keep that ball in front and keep the runners at bay at first and second. 2-2 count, 2 outs here. Runner on first and second, so 2 runners on the bag. In top of the third, as that one is high, but Michael Daniels swings. It's a chopper to short. Short misses the ball. So Nico will be running home. William Brown to third. Ball is missed by Ryan in center field. William Brown will be going home. That is a throw and a half, but it is a little to the left. As Michael Daniels gets a 2-run double for the Rattlers. And now Michael Daniels is responsible for all 3 runs, I believe, for this Rattlers team. And on a very almost deja vu-like scene here, we are back to a runner on second, Michael Daniels, and Wellington Henn at the bag, or at the plate. Brody's pitching to him, very similar to what we saw 2 innings ago. So Brody will pitch that, and it's a little inside. Looked like a 2-seam fastball. Kind of tailed in towards Wellington. Wellington didn't even flinch. I believe Wellington had a hit-by-pitch, too, yesterday. We had a few different hit-by-pitches in that first game. Brody pitches that one inside, getting Wellington to swing, but Wellington did foul it off. Michael Daniels is a little conservative on his lead right now, kind of just strolling out there on second. Slowly extending his lead. Brody checks back, winds up, pitches. That is a nice breaking ball pitch, goes right over, getting Wellington to swing, and now it is a 1-2 count with a runner on second and 2 outs for the Tigers. And Michael Daniels will go to third, but that is a foul ball, meaning Michael Daniels will have to go back to second. I realize as I'm saying this, Michael Daniels, I keep saying his whole name. I could just say Michael. I feel like there's so many Michaels on this field. I feel like the name just rolls right off my tongue when I say it. But Daniels is back at second. Wellington up here, and Daniels will go again, but that one is fouled once again, and so Daniels will have to go back to second base. Now, sometimes you see him run twice, but will you see him run a third time or attempt one with 2 outs, by the way? You got to think that the Tigers are on edge, or at least on their radar is up, knowing that he might go. I would not be shocked to see the aggression, but I also wouldn't be shocked to see him not go this time and go the next. As Brody attempts a pickoff, but does not throw the ball, just steps off the mound. Michael might be going on this one right here, and he does. Michael does not go, but that is a foul tip called. Wellington is retired, leaving Michael on second, and the Tigers will be going in to the bottom of the third with an 8-3 lead against Florida A&M. Into the bottom of this third inning, Duvall with a good pitch on the outside, leading to strike one. I believe Braden Ward is at the plate. Now when it's hit straight back to Duvall with a great defensive play right at the feet. And that will be out number one for the Rattlers. Just 2 pitches. As J.D. Renero steps up to the plate. A little bit of momentum kind of get back, or at least a little bit of energy. I don't want to know if it's momentum, but at least a little bit of energy back into this Rattlers team after that play and this past top of the inning. Fine, looking to pitch, winds up, throws it in a nasty curve, but does not fall in the strike zone in time. Miles is trying to hear a little bit of an understanding of why it wasn't called. Stefan is kind of grinning on the mound, thinking he should have had it. Everyone's a little confused at the plate right now. As umpire continues to explain to Miles why he called it so high. JD came oh so close to a home run last inning in the left field as the ball hit the warning track. We'll look to try and hit another one, and that one is low and past Miles. Here we go with a 2-0 count for JD. And that one again hits the dirt and is low. Stefan looks at his hand, almost like he might need to wipe it off. Ball's pitches inside, but JD hits that one into center. Looks to be a pop-up, and it'll be caught by the center fielder. I believe in this game is Ty Andrews. And JD is retired, and just like that, Caleb Evans, the home run hitter last inning, is coming up with 2 outs in an 8-3 ball game with no runners on base. See what Caleb Evans can do here. As Duvall looks pretty calm on the mound right now. That pitch was high, breaking ball high. I believe it was a curve ball, and it was so high, Miles Green, the catcher, had to stand up. Ball winds up again, throws that in the zone. And that breaking ball breaks right into zone for a strike. Count is now 1-1 with 2 outs. As Caleb Evans looks to try and extend this inning. Ball winds up, throws it inside, and that is another strike right in the lower inside part of the zone. Caleb looks back, kind of gives a nod like, okay, I know where it is now. See if that information will help him as he faces essentially elimination for this inning. He will turn on that inside pitch and foul it straight back. If that fence wasn't there, I was probably going to get hit. There's a 2-2 count now, 2 outs. As that breaking ball is outside. There's one thing in these last 2 games is that these pitchers are facing 2 strikes, no matter how in the game they are, how in control they are. They always seem to go to the breaking ball rather than a fastball, which is interesting. As that one is hit by Caleb Evans into center field. Ty Andrews will make sure to field that properly, get it into shortstop, and Caleb Evans with a single. That is his 3rd hit of the game, I believe. Could be wrong. I do not. It is a 3rd hit. I was just confirmed by Kalani that it is the third hit of the game. Miles looked to try and throw it at him, but Wilbur Line is up to plate, up to the bat, up to the batter's box. Trying to find the words. Don't worry, Caleb Evans standing on first. Caleb's not having too aggressive of a lead. As Will hits that one into center field, going back towards the warning track, but the center fielder is able to make the catch. These Tigers are getting a ton of contact and power, but they just happen to be going straight into gloves at this moment. So for the first time in this game, the Rattlers have held the Tigers to 0 runs. As they will move into the top of the 4th with a score of 8-3 as the Tigers lead the Rattlers. As we head to the top of the 4th, there's been a pitching change and a catching change here. As on the mound is Lawson Ivy, the third baseman who was switched with Brody. It's Carter Rooms, who's at bat for the Rattlers, shows a bunt, and that is fouled over the backstop, even over the foul netting that's on top of the backstop. Lawson Ivy's first pitch is fouled as a strike, and that is 0-1 count for Rooms. And behind the plate, Berline has been switched with Colin Moriarty. As Rooms once again shows bunt, but doesn't pull back the bat, and that is strike 2. And now the count is 0-2. You hear from the dugout that they're asking Carter to fight now. So you do have to protect that plate in a 2 count when you're down that bar, and he doesn't even swing, as that is a gorgeous pitch by Lawson Ivy. Dead center. Doesn't seem like Carter was quite having the same effect that he had yesterday. I don't know exactly what he saw, because that pitch looked to not even move. Hopefully he can kind of figure it out a little bit, but that was a pretty 3-pitch at bat for Ivy as he sets up against Mark Hohen, third baseman for the Rattlers. That first pitch is outside, or inside, too far inside. But that one's inside, and that is a strike, bringing this count to 1-1. So right now, Ivy has pitched 5 pitches, all but 1 being in the zone. Just like 4 of the 5 other pitches, that one again is in the zone as a breaking ball, 1-2. It seems like Ivy is just locked in his pitching. He is just in a repetitive cycle right now. just seems to be working as that one's in the zone, but it is fouled off. Down the right field line, bounces off the wall, goes all the way to the right fielder. Which I believe is Braden Ward for the Tigers. I have 20/20 vision, but sometimes I still can't see that far. As that one curves in, as the third baseman, Brody, makes a great play, throws it across the plate. And Michael Pritchard, with an amazing acrobatic catch, jumps up, brings the mitt down, and tags Mark on the helmet before he hits the bag. And Michael Pritchard is not a short guy, but the fact that he was able to reach up, get that ball, which was an amazing defensive play anyway by Brody, and then on the way down, touch Mark's helmet and tag him out was amazing. I mean, this is why they're athletes. This is why they're on the field and why I'm in the booth. So Ivy will pitch again to Andres, the second baseman for the Rattlers. But you're already seeing the glove work. Why this Clemson team is nationally ranked. As that ball is high and inside. Only the third ball of Ivy's showing so far. That one is inside, but that is launched to left field. And the backs are going back, but it is over his head, but he is able to field it off the wall, gets it into the shortstop, Caleb, but Andres will get a double out of it. That will be the first hit that Ivy has given up this inning. It's not too bad of a showing considering it's only been 3 batters that he has faced. Andres is calling for time to try and get on, I assume would be he's giving him, I guess, his batting gloves. I would assume putting on maybe a sliding glove. Many players do that. Or excuse me, that could have also been simply a arm guard that he had. I believe this is Ty Andrews, who's batting the 9th hole, stepping up to the plate. Wait until he turns to see his number. It is Ty Andrews at the plate. With runner in scoring position. 2 outs. A 1-0 count for Ivy as he checks back at second. And that one is pitched. Breaking ball thought hit the top left corner of the zone. But it was just outside or just too high. One of the two that the umpire saw and called it a ball. So it is a 2-0 count. As that one is fouled off, I would assume, into the woods. Stops just before it in the mulch. The count is now 2-1. Ivy will settle down, check the runner at second, throw that one down and low, but Colin with a great stop keeps Andres at second. Almost looked textbook-like. He dropped to his knees and had the mitt right between the legs to block any type of ball going under him. And you've seen an impressive showing from both catchers here for the Tigers. Wilbur Line and Colin Moriarty. Not many balls have gone past them. As Ty Andrews has walked and takes first base. Coming back to the top of the lineup with Nico Taylor. The Rattlers now have 2 runners on base, one of which is in scoring position. Have Nico Taylor at the bag. As Ivy's ball is getting a little away from him at the top. Just got to see if Ivy can calm down a little. That's a pitch you want to see if you're the Tigers and if you're Ivy. You want to get back in the zone, even out the count at 1s, and move on. Don't worry about the players on first or second, because if you get an infield single or some type of contact, you can have a force out at first, second, or third right now. As he tries a pickoff. But Andres gets back to the bag and then shakes his head no at the second baseman, J.D. Monero. Pretty emphatically, actually. Lawson Ivy will pitch that one in the zone, but that will be fouled off to the right. past us, hits a tree, and goes right across the highway. Rolling, luckily, not bouncing. Now count 1-2. Runner on first, runner on second. Andres once again trying to get the attention of the pitcher, but that does not help. And Ivy with a decent breaking ball just outside of the zone. A little too far inside towards the batter. Umpire calls it a ball. So it's a 2-2 count. 2 runners on the bag. Number 2 is batting, and it's 2 outs. So 2 just seems to be the number of this game, like I've said before. Always need to find ourselves back with something surrounded by 2, as that pitch is beautifully put right past Taylor. And that will retire the side, leaving 2 runners stranded for the Rattlers and keeping this 5-run lead for the Tigers heading into the bottom of the 4th here at Dawson Park. As we enter the 4th inning here, the bottom of the 4th, Stefan Duvall is still on the mound for the Rattlers. His relief pitcher, Lawson Ivy, steps to the plate. And that ball, or that pitch, excuse me, is the first ball of the at-bat, leading to a 1-0 count right now. If you look around, there should really no shifts in the field of play as far as defense, but there is a hit right down the left field line by Lawson. Lawson will be looking to go 2. They route him around the bag. Left fielder gets it, throws it in. Doesn't even throw it in, actually, excuse me. He gets it into finally to 3rd. Ball must have gotten trapped under the fence or lost in the leaves in the back left corner of the field. Lawson Ivy will get into 2nd standing up, starting this 4th inning with a double. Now, if you're the Rattlers, you wonder, I noticed that they'd be warming up a pitcher over in the bullpen. You kind of wonder, when do you start thinking to take out Duvall? Because you're still in striking distance. You have 3 innings, 5, 6, and 7, to make up this 5-run deficit. And considering last inning you had let the Tigers get up 0 runs, as that is a breaking ball that is hit into right field. That drops in before the right fielder Lawson will be sent home. Lawson will be running. Caleb will be going to second. Instead, they decide to send neither home. Lawson, who was called back to third, and Caleb, who was kept at first. In his first hit, it looked, like I said, I have a pole right in front of me. It's right in front of the third. Unfortunately, we can't really move that pole, but as I was looking, it looked like the third base coach at first was going to send Lawson as he rounded and then decided to not send him. As a right fielder, if you remember earlier in this game, did make that throw that tagged out Aiden Baxter. It was a beautiful throw. And so they kept Lawson at third, kept Caleb at first, or excuse me, not Caleb, Brody at first. I would not be shocked at all to see if Brody steals in one of the next two pitches. Right now he's dealing with the sliding glove, so he might not steal this one, but he might steal the next one as Michael Pritchard hits that one foul down the left field line. And like you were saying, you do wonder, being that you gave up 0 runs last inning and scored 2 in the third, but had 0 last, but you did have some hits that led to 2 runners on base for the Rattlers. Do you think of pulling Duvall shortly just so that you can possibly crawl back into this game, get back in to making it less than 5 runs as Michael Pritchard strokes one down to third base? He makes a great defensive play. He gets 1 out at second, but does not get the out at first. That will only be 1 out, but it will score a run. So Brody is out at second. But Michael Pritchard, who outruns the throw, prevents the double play, and gets an RBI as Lawson Ivy scores, extending this to a 6-run lead as Ryan Stakowitz steps up to the plate. And now there is 1 out, runner on first, as Ryan will look to try and advance Michael Pritchard. Which Michael Pritchard, by the way, that is technically a fielder's choice, so I don't know if that is officially his first hit. Michael Pritchard, as I just looked up on Google, still has not yet recorded technically a hit as Ryan hits that one to second. Gets the runner at second, tries for the double, but it, once again, is a little too slow as Ryan Stakowitz outruns the throw there, getting a fielder's choice as well. So back-to-back fielder choice outs here. And after that Google search, I did realize that a fielder's choice does not count as a hit. I do not know why, but that is the rule as Aiden Baxter steps up to the plate. So Michael Pritchard, who has gotten on base 3 times now in 3 plate appearances, has still not recorded an at-bat, I believe. I'll double-check that for you in a second. But Aiden Baxter, who is up, first pitch is a breaking ball, and Aiden Baxter hits that one to short. Short makes a great defensive play. And 3 straight plays in a row, they get the out at second for another essential fielder's choice. And that will retire the Clemson side, leaving them to having given up only 1 run in that inning. The Clemson Tigers lead 9-3 over the Rattlers, heading in to the top of the 5th. A little bit of research in that inning break. Got a little bit more understanding that Michael Pritchard, while he has 3 plate appearances, just for a fun fact that I was trying to figure out to factually give you guys, while having 3 plate appearances in this game, he is technically still 0 for 1. Because for some reason, baseball has a decision that walks don't count as at-bats. But if you get a hit and it is a fielder's choice, it counts as an at-bat, but no hit. So explain that to me, because I don't understand it, and I tried my best to explain it to you. I don't know why I chose that way, but it did. But either way, we are going into the top of the 5th. The score is 9-3 as Miles Green, who was 2 for 2 on the day, is up to bat and swing and misses in a pretty pitch that is inside by Lawson Ivy. The Tigers are looking to hopefully sweep this series and rebound from a series last week, which Miles hits that down the line, but it is foul. As I was saying, the Tigers lost their game series against Georgia last weekend in Athens, 2-1. So they are hoping to rebound this weekend with a sweep of the Rattlers. And if they do win this game and finish off strong, this would also be their 4th straight win after dropping the first 2 games of the series to the Bulldogs last weekend. That pitch is a little outside. Is 1-2 here to Miles. So Lawson sends that, and Miles hits that one to left field. It is going right to, I believe, Aiden Baxter, who's in that left field position. Aiden Baxter makes a good grab and gets it right in. And Miles is retired for the first time this game without getting on base. Bryant Rooms is up to bat. That's an inside pitch for ball 1. Unlike Miles, Brian Rooms has not yet recorded a hit. He's had some pretty contact, just hasn't been able to get on the base yet. So he is in search for his first hit. And that is high, as you hear some of the players yell it too. That is high, and he does not want that pitch. That is a pretty pitch on the inside for strike 1. Looked a little bit like a 2-seamer. Kind of broke inside, tailed right back in towards the catcher and away from the batter. This count is 2-1. And Rooms gets a piece of that, but it is a foul ball as Ryan Stagowitz catches it in his hat. Oh my gosh! Ryan, who's not even in the game, runs behind and catches the foul ball in his hat, showing exactly why they trust him in center field. Phenomenal play. Although we are not playing banana balls, it does not count as an out, but still a fantastic highlight to see live, as this is a 2-2 count. And Lawson Ivy steps off the mound, but you hear from the dugout, the Rattlers, that they're all yelling balk right now. Umpire says no, he asked for time. Lawson tries a breaking ball, but it's high, bringing this to a full count. You can hear some chirping out here from the Rattlers, which you love to see, a little bit of competitive fire. Even down 6 runs, as that one is fouled off too. Lawson Ivy on the mound, winds up, throws it inside, but it is low and too far inside, and Rooms will get on base. As Michael Daniels, who was 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs, all 3 runs that the Rattlers have scored have been batted in by Michael Daniels, who I believe has had 2 doubles getting both those runs in, is now in the batter's box. I believe he just called time real quick. And so the question is, will Daniels, while this is a tougher challenge, get someone home from first, as Rooms goes to steal second, throw is in, but it is not in time, as Rooms gets to second, and that will make it easier for Daniels to add another RBI in the game. I do apologize. I missaid. He is 1 for 2 in this game, Daniels, but he does have the 2 of the 3 RBIs. Lawson pitches that one in the middle for a strike. Right there. I guess I just assumed because of how well Daniels has been hitting that he's already had 2 hits. He's been hitting so well throughout this series as they attempt a pickoff on second. JD thought he had the ball. I guess took his eyes off it just a little too quickly. Or he did have it and it just room sliding back into the bag, hit the ball out of his glove. But JD had to kind of hop off the bag, get the ball, and send it back to Lawson. Lawson winds up, checks second. Pitches that one in the zone. That is hit between the shortstop and third. There might be a play at the plate. Rooms is rounding third. Aiden will be throwing it home over the cutoff. Not in time, unfortunately. Rooms will make that in, and that is the 3rd RBI for Daniels as Daniels gets a single. And all of a sudden, we have a second player on cycle watch. Caleb Evans being the first one with a single and a double, and now Evans with a single and a homer, and Daniels with a single and a double. I have to see how this game proceeds, as it is the 5th inning. Makes it a little bit tougher to try and get all the hits. But it seems to be, again, a deja vu moment. Daniels is on the bag, only one on base, and Wellington is at the plate. Lawson puts in a pretty curve right on the inside of the plate to get an 0-1 jump start in this plate battle right now, this at-bat battle. Lawson looks over at first but doesn't throw it, and Wellington kind of does a half swing, but it bounces up. They're going to call it fair, and Wellington is out, but Wellington, out of frustration, throws his helmet onto the ground. I believe that is his 3rd at-bat. And once again, he ends it with an out, walking back to the dugout. I believe it was, I think one of them was a strikeout earlier in this game. That one was a ground out, and I can't remember what the first one was, if it was a strikeout or a ground out. But obviously Wellington is not happy with his performance so far at the at-bats, or at least the outcomes of those at-bats, as Michael Daniels did advance to second. And Carter Rooms, who has been a little uncharacteristic today in his at-bats, is back at the plate. Yesterday, he seemed to be fighting off everything, and it seemed to take an entire army to get him out of that box. But today, he's only faced a total of 5 pitches, which is only half of what he faced in his first at-bat in Game 1, I believe. Or one of his first at-bats in Game 1. That one is a ball. Carter with 2 outs, maybe get an RBI. As Lawson threatens the pickoff to Daniels at second. As you hear some funny chatter, Carter swings and misses there. You hear a little bit of chatter from the dugout saying that Lawson doesn't want to pitch as he keeps trying to step out and throw off the pickoff. Again, you love the competitive fire, a little bit of the trash talk back and forth. Nothing too nasty, though, as Carter fights that one off. Moves his count to 1-2. Question is, can Lawson get one more strike? Get him out. He does. He gets him swinging on a low and outside pitch, and Lawson will retire. Carter only conceding 1 run in this inning. Now the Tigers will be moving into the bottom of the 5th with a decently comfortable lead of 5 runs. As the score is 9-4, your Clemson Tigers up here at Dawson Park. We are back here, the bottom of the fifth. I apologize, the volume is a little off. I am here doing the graphics and the commentating here. I got upgraded my position, so I'm a little excited here as Braden Ward is in the box, the lefty, as Duvall's first pitch is a ball, leaving this count to 1-0 for Ward. A little shocking to continue to have Duvall in here, but the Rattlers have trusted him as he has only given up 1 run in these last 2 innings compared to the 8 that he gave up in the first 2. As that ball once again is outside. Count is 2-0. Ball taking a little bit of time to decide the pitch, winds up, and once again, that pitch is outside. 3 straight balls to start the inning. You gotta wonder, when do the Rattlers realize to pull him as they seem to be warming up Joseph Fioriorno? Forgot exactly how to pronounce his last name, but I'll check it real quick. And that is ball 4. Oh, that is a call to strike on the outside of the plate. Joseph Fioriorno. There we go. Could not pronounce it properly, but Joseph will be looking to warm up in the bullpen as Ward does get a hit, but it goes straight to the first baseman. The first baseman will ground it and get the first out of the inning. That will retire Ward and bring up J.D. Raniero, the 9th batter in the lineup. See if he can't get on base and continue. Hopefully add in some runs and maybe get a little bit of energy into this game and into this Clemson dugout, who seems pretty comfortable right now, obviously with a 5-run lead. That ball is high and away, or high and inside, I should say, to JD. The ball seems to try and get a little bit of dirt on his hands, maybe a little bit more traction. Maybe some of the sweat's dripping down, get onto his hands, and he can't just quite grip the ball correctly. Maybe it's slipping out of his hand a little bit, but sets back up, winds up, throws it in, and that is a swing and a miss for JD. Strike 1. There's a swing by JD. That is up in the air, but it seems like the shortstop has called him off. But no, instead the left fielder calls off the shortstop, makes the catch. His little hop, step, jump throw into second base. I believe that is Nico Taylor, who was playing in the left field, who played third base in the first game. Played third to start the second game yesterday and then jumped into pitching. And now he's out in the left field, and he made a really good catch as he called off the shortstop, Carter Rooms, for the second out of the game. The problem is that now you're facing the leadoff batter, Caleb Evans, who has been phenomenal in these last 2 games specifically. This one in the second game yesterday, that pitch is a breaking ball that is just too far outside. Ball 1. Duvall, who is deciding on the pitches, his little nod. That ball was caught and then bounced out of the glove and tapped the umpire on his head, so hopefully the umpire's okay. But Duvall is kind of grinning at that. It's kind of bounced out, but it seemed to be a nod for a curveball there. There he is deciding on the pitch, nods again. So Evans is waiting patiently for the pitch he likes. That is again another curveball. First strike of the at-bat for Duvall, who was retired the first 2 batters. Now you're sitting at 2-1. Caleb Evans is at his at-bat. Just count right now. That is again what seems to be another curveball. Either I'm just seeing curveball over and over again, or I can't read a pitch. One of the two. But nonetheless, that one slides inside for a strike, bringing this count back to 2-2. Does he go with a fastball here to throw Caleb off? He kind of does, but as a drop third strike, Caleb decides not to run as he was a little late realizing where it was. And they counted that as out. No throw, no tag, but because Caleb essentially self-outed, I guess, or kind of just walked off, they just solidified the out, moved on to the next inning, and that was a 1-2-3 inning for the Rattlers, who seem to be having a little bit, at least finding their way on the defensive side these last few innings, only giving up 1 run since the 8 they gave up in the first 2. And this will bring us to the top of the 6th. Only 2 innings left. If you're the Rattlers, you have an inning and a half. In other words, 6 outs to try and bring this game back to a tie or take the lead. But heading into the top of the 6th, the score is 9-4. Your Tigers are up on the Rattlers. All right, we're here in the top of the 6th. Mark Hohen, third baseman for the Rattlers, is up to the plate. We have a new pitcher, Daniel Scarth, who played first yesterday for the Tigers. Is now, at least first in the first game yesterday for the Tigers, he is now on the mound as a relief pitcher. His first ball seemed to be another breaking ball. That was behind Mark. That one again is behind Mark. I think he's just trying to calm down and find it inside. So that one is also high and away as 3 straight balls. I think Daniel's just trying to calm down, find his zone, and pitch it in there. There you go. That's what you need if you're Daniel. Strike 1. Count is now 3-1. So that one is hit by Mark, but it goes foul.
He has to do it again. Way to fight, kid. Way to fight.
Here we go with a full count. Daniel's been able to claw his way back in after being down 3-0 in this count. Pitch is in there, but it's inside. And Mark will get on base via a walk. Not exactly the start you wanted, but also stay optimistic. You have the second baseman, Andreas Masonet, who is stepping in for the Rattlers at the plate. Right now, you do have an opportunity. If you get this ball down as a grounder to short, second, third, first, somewhere in the infield, you can get a double play out of it, hopefully. That is a curve that almost looked like it was going to hit Andres and slides right on the inside. Good grief, what a pitch. Scarth there. Getting up on the count already, 0 for 1. We thought last at bat, he wasn't really quite finding the zone, and now all of a sudden he's making his curve seem like it's going to hit the batter and then drop inside. There's that fastball, but it goes left. Way out into the woods. As I hear, apparently over the woods is also a road, so you're really not safe if you're driving your car around here. This Ryan gives me a grin over here on the right as I heard his conversation. As that one tried to be another breaking ball inside, but didn't break well enough, and Andres is hit, and it goes to the first base. I could have been fed wrong information, but I believe Ryan on what he said. But we are now facing the third batter of this inning. I believe this is Ty Andrews stepping up, the left fielder. Or should be the center fielder, I think, now for the Rattlers in this game. As Mark Hohen, third baseman, is on second. Andreas Massonet, the second baseman for the Rattlers, is on first. And Ty Andrews is at the plate as that one is high and out of the strike zone, and it is now a 1-0 count. Now, mind you, Ty is the 9th batter in the lineup, which is not bad, but it does mean that if they get through this, most likely Nico Taylor, the #1 hitter as far as in the lineup, will be coming up to the bag. Typically, the way a lineup is set up in baseball, your 1 through 4s are your best hitters. Specifically, your 1 is usually the one that you always expect to get on base. Maybe not always, but mostly. Usually your contact hitter. And then your 4th, which is Michael Daniels, usually your power hitter, the one that always gets the runs in. Your 2 and 3, you also are typically 2 of your better hitters, as you want the top of your lineup to be able to get on base early when the game starts. So Ty Andrews at the 9 doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad hitter. It just means they want him in the 9 probably for a reason, but most likely it means that his at-bats aren't quite maybe as effective as some of these other hitters in the lineup. This is a 3-1 count that is smashed up in the air, but it is not very far. It is a pop-up that's right behind second base. I believe that's Caleb that grabbed that to get the first out of the inning for the Tigers and brings up Nico Taylor, like I was saying, the top of the order. And so here comes Nico. That curve, again, just looks like it's coming inside and then just drops into the strike zone. As Nico Taylor, again at the top of the order, is 0 for 2 so far today. Hasn't quite had the game he expects. But again, it seems as if Daniel's trying to ride that inside. Almost like he got a little bit of an adrenaline high off that one pitch that just was absolutely disgusting. It's not bad to keep throwing it, but you might want to look a little bit more into the zone. Or a little more inside, but there it is, and there's the one in the zone, and that is a strike. Exactly what I asked for and exactly what he delivered. This count is now 1-2 with a runner on first and second, 1 out. If you can help it, you'd like to not get into miles with runners on scoring position. You'd rather leave 2, 3, 4 hitters. It's a block by Colin, but unfortunately got a little bit away from him. And the runners would advance to second and third. The Rattlers. Now you have 2 runners in scoring position. 2-2 count, 1 out. Nico Taylor, your #1 hitter, is up here. #1 hitter in the slot, I should say, the #1 slot, is up here to bat. If you're Clemson, you just want to try and get out of this inning without allowing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters to come in. Specifically the 3 and 4, which are Carter Rooms and Michael Daniels, who have just been able to, Carter maybe not this game, but in this series have been able to just get hits. As that is a pretty pitch to retire Nico. Bring up 2 outs. The catcher, Miles Green, steps into the plate with 2 runners in scoring position. And if you're Daniel, or if you're even the Clemson Tigers, if you can get out of here with leaving the runners on base, that is a huge boost and a huge relief. As the Rattlers will probably grow a little bit frustrated they couldn't score But then again, if Miles gets a piece of this, all of a sudden you have a whole new energy in that dugout for the Rattlers. As Daniel attempts another curveball, another breaking ball. A little high. As I was saying, you don't really want to see Carter. Specifically, you don't want to see Michael Daniels, as he's been seeming to be hot with runners in scoring position, or even runners on base. So you want to try and keep him with as minimal damage as possible, maybe leaving him with 1 or no runners on base, not 2 or 3. As that ball is a little low for Daniel, bringing the count to 2-0. Now, this is not to say that Miles might not be able to bat a run in, but when you're looking at the hottest hitter, that is Michael Daniels. So as Daniel gets set up here to pitch, winds up, goes in, it is low. Good block by Colin, but it does kind of get away from him. But it does keep the third base runner at third. Mark Cohen decided not to risk it. Neither did the third base coach. Colin Moriarty has had some really good blocks recently, and so was Will Berline. Both of them have been able to keep these balls in front of them most. I think only 1 or 2 have hit the backstop. There's another pitch that's low and outside, and now all of a sudden you're hitting that moment. We got Brian Rooms, the third base. Excuse me, it wasn't Carter, it was Bryant, who is the third batter in the lineup. Carter, I believe, is the 5th batter. Now all of a sudden you got bases loaded, 2 outs. And as tough as the situation does look, and as in favor as it does to look at it for the Rattlers, Clemson also has a very good opportunity here where you essentially have 5 types of outs you can get. You get a strikeout or you can get a force out at any of one of the 4 bases, home, first, second, or third, as that first pitch is fouled off for an 0-1 count to start it, the at-bat. But if you can get a grounder or even maybe a short single into the outfield, you can get a force out anywhere on this diamond right now. You gotta look a little bit more into the optimistic side of it. Daniel loads up, throws it in, and that is strike 2. Beautiful pitch right there. Mixing up pretty and beautiful just because of how good that pitch looked. As Bryant was caught swinging. Good grief. I'm thinking runners on base, but I'm like, no one can steal on base, as Bryant fouls that one off back left. Not quite in the woods. Ryan's now walking out of the dugout, Ryan Stakowicz, and if he was a few minutes earlier, he may have been able to catch another one in his hat like he did an inning or 2 ago. But here we go with Bryant at the plate. 0-2 count, bases loaded, 2 outs. Daniel Endit tries, and it counts. What a pitch. A curveball that seemed to be going outside and curves right at the last moment to come on the outside. Seemed to be the same pitch he was trying to do for so often in those first few at-bats. And nails it here. Retires the lefty, leaving 3 runners stranded, not giving up a single run that inning, and preserving the 5-run lead that the Tigers have heading into the bottom of the 6th, as Clemson leads 9-4 over Florida A&M. As we enter the bottom of the sixth, hopefully, as the lead stays the same of this 9-4 ball game, if it does, this may be Clemson's last round through the batting lineup. As Colin Moriarty stepping up to the plate, as he is facing a new pitcher for the Rattlers. And I apologize if I mispronounce his last name, but it is Joseph Fiorino. Again, I apologize if I butcher it. I'm trying my best out here. Joseph will look, calm down, pitch it. Now, Joseph started game 2. He came out a little, almost too amped up to an extent, little jumpy. Ended up leading to a 7-run first inning in game 2. But he's coming in as a relief pitcher now and has a pretty first pitch for a strike. He seems much more composed, much more calm coming into this game than he did in the beginning of game 2 yesterday. But that pitch will be low and away, leading to a 1-1 count for Joseph. So I believe this is also Colin's first appearance at the plate in this game after being subbed in for Wilbur Verline. And that is a play made by Mark Owen at third. Good snag. Mark has been showing that glove and those web gems these last few innings. Colin had a nice piece of contact, but was a better defensive play made by Mark. Got Colin out for the first out of this 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning, I should say. Now the pitcher, Daniel Scarth, who's stepping in. He'll be facing off, so we have another pitcher versus pitcher duel right now. Let's see who comes out on top. Seems to be not many shifts. It seems like the Rattlers are not shifting their defense as much as they did last time, as that ball gets away from Joseph and hits Daniel. I believe Daniel got hit last game too. So he is just unlucky right now. Maybe he is lucky. We have no idea. Maybe you want to go buy a lottery ticket if he was him. Kind of depends on how you want to look at the pitch, but he seems to be okay. Hit him right in the shoulder blade, possibly. But he does make his way to base. No, instead it hit his shoulder, it seemed. I know yesterday I think he got a shot into the ribs. So he's got a few bruises and scars, if you will, to show how hard he played today. But nonetheless, that gives the Tigers a runner on first with 1 out. As Brody steps up to the plate. Brody Gasandi looking to hopefully advance the runner as Joseph throws that inside. Miles with a quick pop-up. Maybe to threaten a throw first, but Daniel does not seem too nervous or too scared. Daniel attempts a pickoff. Excuse me, as Joseph attempts a pickoff on Daniel, but Daniel gets back to the bag pretty easily standing up. Pitches one inside. Oh, that is hit into left center field. The center fielder is going back far from Brody's hit, but is caught at the warning track. And the center fielder will bring it in, throw it all the way into the pitcher as Daniel returns to first. I mean, that was a step and a half away from being a 2-run homer for the Tigers, as the center fielder caught it with 2 hands and then hit the fence. And unlike the majors, these fences are not padded, so that does not feel necessarily good when you run into those. But it was a fantastic defensive play. And it will bring the Rattlers 1 out closer to be able to get back to hitting. Problem is that 1 out has to be through Michael Pritchard, who, well, the box score doesn't really show his fight, has been fighting here, but this one pitch, goes between right and center, and the center fielder showing his coverage ability, just the absolute ability of him to cover the area, going from right center field is right where he was there to catch that ball. And the play before was all the way over between left and center field, so he's showing practically probably about 60 yards worth of coverage in those last 2 pitches. But that will retire the Tigers and bring up the top of the 7th, where the Tigers will look to try and close out this game. They're 3 outs away from earning their 3rd win of the series, which would mean a series sweep, and their 4th straight win in the last week. Stay tuned as your Tigers look to defend their 9-4 lead against the Florida A&M Rattlers. As we enter the top of the seventh and the Tigers look to close out this series, that first pitch to Michael Daniels, the cleanup batter, is a beautiful one. As we have a new pitcher on the mound, Caleb Evans, who just seems to be all over the field right now, sitting first at shortstop. Now he's playing pitcher. He's had a fantastic day at the plate. He'll be looking to close out this series victory for the Tigers as that breaking ball gets a little away, high and up over top of the batter's head. But with the Tigers' 2 wins yesterday, the first one being an 8-6 victory, the second one being a 14-7 victory, the Tigers look to try and close this one out as Michael Daniels fouls that one back. And if they can get 3 outs without giving out a run, this would be a 5-run victory, giving them an overall run differential in this series of 14, of a plus 14. In other words, a run differential is how much you win by or lose by. If it's negative, it's loss. It's win, it's plus or positive. This Caleb does a really good breaking ball. It's just high up. Good. It just seemed like it broke about probably 7 inches. This is now a 2-2 count. It's Michael Daniels. That one looked to be in the zone, but umpire called it. I don't know if it was high or out. If I was looking at it, I would have called it a strike, but so I'm in the booth. I'm looking, I assume it was out, would be my guess. It was outside. That one's outside too, and Michael Daniels starts the inning at first with a walk. Caleb Evans, once again, I mean, this just feels like a deja vu moment where Wellington Henn always steps up to the plate in his last 3 appearances and always has a runner on. The last one being Michael Daniels at first, the one before being Michael Daniels at second, and the one before that being another runner at second. Caleb's first pitch, the breaking ball low, is right in the zone. starts off with an 0-1 count to Wellington. Here we are. Tries to get that outside corner with another slider. Sweet. More movement. That one is not in the strike zone. There's a 1-1 count. Michael Daniels has a little bit of a conservative lead, because that one is a good pitch right on the inside. Making it a 1-2 count. Wellington maybe not exactly agreeing with that pitch, but from my angle and from everyone else out in the crowd, looked to be a pretty good pitch right on the inside of the zone. Good call by the ump. That is another breaking ball, but Wellington fights that one off down the right field line, over, out of bounds. And if this game ends, it might be a new record for the least amount of balls hit into the highway. Only about 2 or 3 have actually crossed that road. Unless we look at this bat. Michael Daniels would go. Good throw by Colin. Hits actually Michael Daniels on the back. As Michael Daniels runs after that hit, he will round third. And that ball is back to the pitcher, Caleb. Actually, not a bad throw by Colin. It's just no one was on the bag, and unfortunately hit the back of Michael Daniels and just bounced into right field. If Michael Daniels wasn't there, there would have been a person that was able to pick it up behind him, as JD was kind of coming around behind the bag, and so was the shortstop. As that ball is smoked to left field, deep. And that one goes over for a 2-run home run by Wellington Henn. Michael Daniels will score from third. Wellington will round the bases. And after a frustrating first 3 at-bats, Wellington is rewarded with a 2-run shot over the left field wall. And that will bring Florida A&M within 3 runs in this final inning. And now Carter Rooms stepping up to the plate. Another player who looked pretty good yesterday, but all of a sudden has been a little cold today. Is at bats, seeing if he can't change the tide. With no outs, now a score of 9-6. Caleb will look to try and close out this game. Thank you for the information. Breaking news, I was just told by Ryan Stakowitz that it is a 3-0 count here. Carter Rooms, and after some breaking news from Ryan Stakowitz, I don't know if you guys heard anyway. These mics kind of pick up a lot, but Ryan told me that Wellington Henn, the one that just hit a home run, is a strike 1. Beautiful pitch by Caleb. Ryan told me that the guy who just hit a home run, Wellington Henn, who pitched 123 pitches yesterday, after that game is at a strike 2, bringing it to a full count, 3-2. Wellington got offered a D2 scholarship to Savannah State after his 123 pitch outing yesterday at D2 level. As that 4th ball will walk Carter Rooms and bring Mark Owen to the plate. So if you think that this is just a D2 club, you are surely mistaken, because these people are competitive and they are still looking to make their way in the sport. Yes, they are students. Yes, they're athletes. And yes, they still have a dream to at least play baseball while they're in college. If not, extend it even farther. And these boys are playing their hearts out and showcasing, even with their level. Like we said, these are some of the top players at this level in this country that you are seeing live. Caleb comes set. Carter will run. Ooh! And Colin tries to throw the ball. And Caleb is absolutely railed into the back hip. Almost directly into the spine. It was one heck of a laser throw right on the line. Nails Caleb right into the back of the spine on that pitch, or on that throw, attempted throw to second. Carter will get in standing, but you even heard the ooze from the Rattlers dugout after that throw. Caleb feeling discomfort, but I don't know if he's smiling or just grimacing. Colin's kind of chuckling, so I think Caleb's chuckling too. Hopefully everything is fine. Hopefully they all feel okay. Obviously, that spot's probably going to feel a little sore tomorrow morning when he wakes up. As Mark hits that one as a pop-up to second. JD makes a catch, turns right around to Carter, and maybe Colin did that on purpose to try and wake up his pitcher. I have no idea. But hopefully, obviously, nothing was done in bad faith. That was fully, absolutely an accident. But it looks like everyone is okay. That is why I'm joking about it now. But it does seem like Caleb is a little bit more here. He is good. It doesn't seem to be affecting too much right now in his stance or in his stride, as Carter will throw. Colin will throw as well. They said Carter got under the tag. I thought it was a good throw, a one-hopper from Colin. Right on the money, but it seemed to be that Carter got under that tag after that throw. A lot of us think that it was out, but I know the final decision is not us, and that is a shot up to short. As Michael Moran tries to backhand it and just does not get it. And that will lead to another run scored, cutting the lead to 2 for the Tigers. It's now a 9-7 score, as they will send Michael Moran to center field after that missed grounder. And bringing the center fielder, I can't quite see the number yet. That might be Jace Coleman. Who are they bringing in? As Caleb seems to be grinning and chuckling at Michael missing the grounder. And now they will have a runner on first with a tying run at the plate right now, who smokes that one into left center field. They will be sending the runner only to second. We'll keep him at second. That was Andreas Masonet who had the hit before, and then this one right here was William Brown. And this will bring up Montrell Thomas, who is right now would be the leading run if he hits a deep enough shot or a good enough hit. And all of a sudden, that little leadway that the Tigers have is looking to be a little closed now. Caleb will look to have a pretty pitch. Curveball that just went straight into the bottom corner. Blown away from the batter for an 0-1 count. As that one is hit to shortstop, but that bounces off his glove. They will send home the runner from second. Andres will score. They will keep the runner at third. And now this ball game is 1 run away from being tied, as Montrell Thomas adds in an RBI as well. And all of a sudden, this game is 9-8, with William Brown at third, Montrell Thomas at first, and only 1 out. As the Tigers decide to take a little bit of a timeout, maybe to talk to the pitcher, figure out what's going on. Made the switch from Michael Moran to Jace Coleman at shortstop, but it did not seem to help with the skips that were coming off of that dirt. I mean, these are not easy balls to ground. And trust me, I wouldn't want to be sitting in front of those either. But it looks like Michael Pritchard is coming off, maybe to switch out his first base glove with a pitching glove. No, instead he seems to be grabbing goggles. But they did take Caleb off the mound. And I believe we'll be putting Jace Coleman in as he is warming up. So we will get back to you. You guys watch Jace warm up. Here we are after Chase Coleman warming up. And during the break, I did look at the replay with Kalani, and both of us think that William Brown was out. I believe William Brown, or the runner was out, I should say, Carter Rooms, because that was a wild pitch, and that will score the tying run. And all of a sudden, it is now a 9-9 ball game, and that, in our opinion, missed call on the steal seems to be a big influence, because since that missed call, the Tigers have given up 2 more runs, and the Rattlers have batted them in. I mean, honestly, look at the replay. It seemed as if the tag hit the helmet before the arms got there, but the only reason I can think the ump didn't see it was because he is the only ump in the infield. Usually you have 2. Being the only ump, it is tough to make those calls and see properly. So typically you will side more with the runner to play it safe. Unfortunately, it just does not fall in the favor of the Tigers, as this game is tied 9-9 with a runner in scoring position. As Montrell Thomas on second, as William Brown came home on the wild pitch. Chase Coleman looked to try and close this out. Ball is wide to the right. It's Miles Green, the second batter in the lineup, is looking to hopefully bat in the tying run, or the leading run, I should say. As that is a pretty pitch down the middle by Jace. If you are the Tigers, you kind of got to get back into this. You can't overthink it. Luckily for you, you are the home team, so you do have a half inning. You have 3 outs to be able to either to just take the lead or, in the worst case, tie it. As that ball is chopped down the left field line, but is foul as it did not pass third base. So with the full count, 1 out, man on second, Tigers looking to hopefully not let up any more runs, as Montrell Thomas will be going, but that is stroked into foul territory. Montrell Thomas had the idea to sprint and try and steal that third base anyway. As the Rattlers feel this momentum and energy shifting towards their side, they're going to try and take advantage by being aggressive with only 1 out left and a runner in scoring position. We've gotten lucky with a few calls, and obviously with the umpire being the only one in the middle of the field, it would be tough for him to see. It almost have to be an obvious out as Montrell once again goes, but this one is hit into left field, and the ball is dropped. Montrell stopped. If he throws it into third, he might be able to get the tag, but it is a little bit off. And that is a double off of, I believe, Aiden Baxter's error. Seemed to be in his glove. He may have just taken his eye off of the ball, and the ball dropped right out of his glove. No run was scored as Montrell thought it was caught. So as halfway through to third, he turned around to run to second. But then when he realized it was dropped, he turned back around to run to third. And Aiden Baxter got in as quickly as he could, but it went a little too far away from the third baseman. So Brody, who I believe is at third, caught the ball off the bag, but didn't have enough length or room to try and reach to tag him. With all that being said, we are still tied at 9. Runner on second, runner on third, 1 out. And Jace just pitched his first pitch, which is a strike for an 0-1 count. Colin with a good way to keep it in front of him. We look now at a 1-1 count here. I'm looking for the name of the batter. Rashad Cohen is up to bat. He swung, missed on that one. It is a 1-2 count with Rashad at the plate. I believe this is the third batter in the lineup right now. At the top of the order, Rashad Cohen tried calling time, but the umpire missed it, but is hit by the pitch anyway. Gets his base. And while this may seem like a very, very bad situation for the Tigers, again, with all bases loaded, you do have a force at any plate, at any bag. So now it's really just the Tigers. Do they decide to try and go for a double play or go for the plate at home? And the smart decision would be to go for the plate at home. And that is to keep the score tied. That way you only need 1 run to win the game rather than 2 runs to win it and 1 run to tie in the bottom of the 7th. The problem is that you are facing one of the hottest hitters in the series right now for the Rattlers. That is Michael Daniels. So that pitch is down the middle but low, leading to a 1-0 count. Again, you have bases loaded with Montreal Thomas on third. You have, I believe, is Bryant Rooms as Michael Daniels fouls that back. Michael Rooms, I believe, is on second. And Rashad Cohen is on first. Daniels at the plate. Sitting here with a 1-1 count. Michael Daniels is outside of Wellington Henn in this game. Michael Daniels is the only other player to have a home run in this series for the Rattlers. If he gets a hold of one, this could change this ball game completely. With that fastball, he is not fast enough to get. The count is now 1-2 with that swing and a miss. This would be a big, big strikeout. But if you are Michael Daniels, all you got to think about is just getting the ball into play, specifically between that center field and left field. If you can kind of pull that ball into that gap. And he hits it up. That's going to be a pop-up. This might be a chance for a sac fly. Nope, it won't even leave the infield. JD will make the catch. And that will retire Michael Daniels. The only problem is that now you're facing the guy who has been hot in this game, and that is Wellington Henn, who is coming off of a 2-run shot. A lot of the dugouts just saying get a base hit. A lot of the fans are just saying get a base hit. But this is also a guy you got to be careful that he doesn't just smoke one past the fence. We thought that was a good pitch, but the umpire did not agree with it. He said it was a ball. That leaves the count at 1-0. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wellington Henn, again, in his last plate appearance, smoked a left field homer for a 2-run shot that brought it earlier in this inning, actually, I believe. He had that 2-run shot. Bring it 9-5 or 9-7. And that ball is passed. Montreal will go home. They'll try a tag. He is out at the plate. And the Tigers will end the inning, keeping this a tied game, 9-9, heading into the bottom of the 7th. That ball went past the catcher, and Montreal Thomas tried to get in a little bit of a late jump, kind of jumped back towards third, and the toss from Colin to Jace was just in time to get Montreal out and get out of a sticky situation of bases loaded and stop the bleeding of 5 runs in that inning. And just like that, the Tigers will have a chance to close out this series with a walk-off, whether it's a hit, home run, or any other way possible. They will have to get through Joseph Fiorino, and I will have to get through his last name at some point. But nonetheless, we will be going into the bottom of the 7th in just a little bit. Score tied 9-9. All right, we are going into the bottom of the 7th, something we thought we would not see. The Rattlers with an impressive comeback to tie this game at 9. With Jace Coleman, who had the run-saving out to end the inning just a few minutes ago, is facing off against Joseph. Joseph's first pitch is away. Now, Jace Coleman can end it here with possibly a walk-off homer. But the main thing here for the Clemson Tigers is just don't get the outs, just get simple hits, get in the field to play, and extend this inning. As that breaking ball is too far inside for a 2-0 count now. Now, the Rattlers seem to have a little bit of momentum, but I don't think the Tigers have really lost theirs either. So this is going to be a fun last half inning, hopefully, maybe even more, that you guys will be able to witness. Because that ball is outside. And Joseph trying to find the corners and the edges of this strike zone, just can't seem to find it right now. As it seems like every fan in attendance right now, and so are the players, are all on the edges of their seat, standing up or looking. As Joseph finally finds the zone by pitching a fastball straight down the middle. Gotta wonder, will Jace try and swing on one if he sees another one like that? Gotta think he will. Joseph gets set, brings the glove down to his belt, throws it in, and that is out wide, and Jace starts the inning off with a walk. And that is what you want to see if you are a Tigers fan. As Aiden Baxter will be stepping up to the plate. Fortunately for Aiden, at least in the field last inning, he did have that missed grab, but he did get the ball quick enough in to prevent a run from scoring. So while he may have made an error, he did make up for it. But he's been pretty hot at the plate right now. Doing a few different hits, getting some contact as they try. Pickoff goes over the first base. Jace will be held at first. They will not send him to second. Aiden Baxter, who's been pretty consistent at this plate right now, I wanted to see him just get another piece of contact. That's all you're looking for from the lefty. See if he can just get the ball into play. He's been a really reliable player here in this series. So Aiden looks up to get the first pitch of this at bat. As Jace is taking a pretty decent lead, but not like very aggressive. As Miles pump fakes the first, and that ball is high. Good eye by Aiden. Joseph looking for his pitch. Settles the glove down at his waist. Releases, and that is on the outside. Good strike, good pitch by Aiden Baxter. Excuse me, by Joseph to Aiden Baxter. As Aiden is sitting at 1-1. Jay's not really taking too big of a lead on first. Makes sense, maybe a little bit more conservative with no outs. You have a runner on first as Joseph steps off. Aiden almost looks a little annoyed with the step off because he just wants to hit. Kind of telling him, don't worry about the runner, worry about me. Joseph throws an inside pitch, and Aiden swings and misses. A little inside, pretty tough to hit. And now we're looking at a 1-2 count. No outs. A runner on first. Joseph kind of waves it off, nods on to accept the pitch. Can be high up in the zone as Aiden gets a piece of it, but it seems to be a pop-up. And Andres catches it. Aiden not too happy that he's a contact. Now bring up Braden Ward, who has had, again, another pretty solid day of making contact. Just hasn't quite had the luck to get a ball in play. But he's had some pretty good pieces of hitting. Let's see if he can get a solid hit here. Joseph winds up. Pitches a high breaking ball that is too high for a strike. As Miles looks to question it or says something about someone saying something. Maybe it was Braden, maybe it was someone in the dugout. I don't know, but Miles was trying to tell the umpire something's being told. And he's still kind of talking to the umpire about something that was upsetting, but he sets up on the outside of the plate. Probably be some type of breaking ball that maybe he's thinking goes in, but it goes inside, but it does pass, and now all of a sudden, Jace is going to be in a rundown. Tried to go on that play and will be tagged, and that will be 2 outs for the Tigers. Ball looked to be going past Miles, and Miles made a fantastic play behind the plate for the Rattlers to keep that ball and got Jace stuck in between first and second. And now all of a sudden the Tigers, who had a runner on first with no outs, are now looking at a 2-out, 2-0 count for Braden Ward with no one on base. How quickly the momentum changed in this game, just in this inning specifically, as Miles kind of sets up again on the outside. Might be an inside pitch once more. Oh my gosh, that is smoked into right center, or left center. That drops in for a hit. We'll go past the center fielder. And here comes Braden Ward into second. Will he beat the tag? No, he won't. It is thrown, and Braden is out at second, trying to be aggressive for the double. Now all of a sudden the Rattlers are hyped coming into the dugout. It was a beautiful hit, dropped right into the gap, went past the center fielder, but a smart defensive IQ play by the left fielder to get behind to back up that. Scooped it right up, and I believe that was Nico Taylor in left field that made the great play of backing up the center fielder and getting it into second in time to get Braden Ward out. Just like that, we are going into extra innings, folks. Yes, you signed up and you've won the lucky lottery to watch an 8th inning of this fantastic game between the Tigers and the Rattlers. We will see how this goes as Wellington Hen will be looking to start up the inning. We will catch you back in just a few minutes. Here we are, and that shot is hit by Wellington Hen into the gap. Now we'll give him a single off the first pitch from Jace Coleman in this inning. And that brings up Carter Rooms, who has not quite had the day that I expected to see after yesterday's showing in the 2 games. But anything can happen in this baseball game, as shown by the last inning, or the 6th inning, I should say, or the top of the 7th, I should say, that the Rattlers had. I was just about to say, in the MLB, typically in extra innings, after a game passes 9 and it's still tied, they will add an extra runner on second to make the game go by quicker, hopefully end quicker, so you don't have these long games, similar to how they added in the pitch clock in the MLB as well, and I think also now in college, if I remember correctly, in NCAA specifically, there may also be a pitch clock now. But they do it so that the game runs by a little quicker. I feel like for this game, for Division II, it hasn't really needed a pitch clock or any extra rules to make it go by quick. This has been a pretty fast-paced game as it's only 2 o'clock. And this stream started about 3 hours ago, and we're already in the 8th inning. So this game would have been over in just about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, or just under 3, I should say. They're taking a timeout. I don't know exactly what they're talking about here. But as for the extra time here, while in the MLB you do get an extra runner on base, here it does not do that. I don't know specifically the rules. Probably have to look them up in a little bit. But for right now, it seems to just be classic extra inning rules where you just keep going until someone wins. And right now, no one was on base, so Wellington got a single, be the first runner on. They will not pinch run him. They will keep him on base. As you still have Jace Coleman on the mound. I still have not quite learned why this time was taken to talk about, or what was talked about. But Wellington only taking about 2 strides out from the base, being very conservative in an extra inning game where pretty much every runner on base matters. Carter Rooms at the plate will swing at an inside pitch and goes right past him for strike 1. That is 0-1. No outs, runner on first. That is the second pitch of the inning, by the way, as the first pitch was cranked into right center. Jace pitches another one. That is again in the strike zone. Another pretty pitch. Put Carter in an 0-2 count, something he is not a stranger to in this game so far. And a lot that he has been facing with 2 strikes and been down in these counts. But doesn't mean it'll change the outcome. He hits that one deep left, and that one is going, but it looks to be going foul. That one bounces over the left field wall as Aiden Baxter was tracking it down into the foul territory. That went into the woods, and if that was any straighter, that may have either been a home run or a home run robbery. At least very close to it. Fortunately for the Tigers, that went foul, and that will leave an 0-2 count for Carter at the plate. As we look, again, there's a runner on first. That is Wellington Henn. They have still not pinch run him. So they're not really concerned about stealing of anything. They just want to get that batter in. They have 3 outs to do so. That'll be the first ball of this at-bat, sitting at 1-2. As Jace will look to try and get his first out of the inning. That is a breaking ball that goes down. It is popped up. It's coming over. It's going to be foul, but not in the play to be able to be caught. It goes over the bench area. Hits the ground. As you can see, Jace wants this out. Sprinting towards the foul line, as well as other Clemson players in the vicinity. Colin Moriarty behind the plate, and I believe Michael Pritchard also ran. Sprinting to try and catch this ball to get this first out and get the momentum back to them. Luckily for them, they do have the bottom of the inning. So that ball kind of breaks out. Now sitting at a 2-2 count. Again, Carter's kind of showing what he's known for, which is that fighting at bat. That's why I call him the fighter. He's not easy to get out. As that one is blown by him. And I must eat my own words at this point because that seemed way too easy to get by. As Jace blows a fastball straight down the middle. Carter swings and misses, but it brings up Mark Hohen, where this seems to be the moment, this like section of the at-bats. Mark and Andres back-to-back seem to be the points where the Rattlers have been able to get these runs in and get on base, as that ball is high and down the middle for ball 1. But it always seems like around Mark and Andres is where they start getting this little rally going, whether it's 1 out, 2 outs, or no outs. So we'll see if Jace can pitch this to him. And there we go. The umpire is still saying that's too high or too far out, one of the two. Fortunately, the home plate is blocked by a bleacher for me, so I can't quite see. It's also blocked by a catcher and an umpire. Nonetheless, here we are with Mark Hohen, 2-0 count. And that one is down the middle. I did not need to see the plate to know that was a strike. The runner's at first, 1 out. Mark Hohen's facing a 2-1 count. Jace looking to hopefully close this out. Breaking ball, breaks inside. Mark stuck watching it. Now he knows what to look for, as he kind of steps back into the box emphatically for a 2-2 count. Jace will pitch that one in. A little too high for the strike zone. He had a full count. He gets a walk. He's a first and second base person on. But if he gets a grounder, it could be a double play to end the inning, a half inning. But it is the former. That is a walk for Jace. A little frustrated with that at-bat, but nonetheless, Jace has to just calm down, forget what he just did, focus on Andres. The optimistic side of this is that you have a bottom of this inning, which means you guys have the opportunity to hit and get some runs on the board and still make up anything that might be scored here. On top of that, currently right now, the optimistic side is that you have a force at first, second, or third as Jace pitches the first pitch that is in the strike zone. Who needs a force out when possibly you can get a strikeout here to get that momentum back with only 1 out? Runner on first and second. You have Wellington Henn, who has still not been pinch hit. Or he's at second. You have Mark Hohen, and that ball is hit in the gap, but it is made by Michael Pritchard. And they get the out at second, leaving Wellington at third. Bring Andres to first and getting Mark Hohen out at second. But you got to think that with William Brown, who I believe is stepping up to the plate, 2 outs in an extra inning moment right now, I don't think Wellington, with all due respect, is one of their faster players. I don't know if they will still try to steal, but they may try to get a runner into scoring position. Wellington is a really good hitter, a really good fielder, and a really good pitcher. But you do wonder, will they pinch hit him? Or pinch run him, I should say. But it looks like the third base coach, Ty Andrews, is coming over to talk to Andres. Possibly saying fake a steal, maybe try and force Colin to throw it. Maybe actually do a steal. I would not be shocked at all to see Andres take off here, because Colin most likely will not throw it to be the smart play, so he keeps the runner at third. But if you do get Andres at second, you now have 2 runners in scoring position for William Brown. So we'll have to see as they attempt a pickoff. But Andres gets back. I would not be shocked at all if Jace goes to pitch this. I would see Andres to probably run in this pitch or the next. It will be this pitch that he runs. Colin will not throw, let him go. And Andres will stop and not even hit the bag yet. He will walk there. The Tigers with 2 outs will not be concerned. They do not want to risk allowing Wellington to come home. Jace will pitch this one down and away, but a good block by Colin. Now all of a sudden, Jace is at 2-0. If there's one thing I'm telling Jace right now, if we were to take a timeout, it's to take your breath. Yes, you got to run around second, run around third, but again, you have the half of the inning, the bottom half of this inning. But you also just got to get 1 out. So just focus on the batter, focus on the one that you can control. He pitches that one in the zone as William tries to scoot in and almost get a hit. Looks like he ducked, but I could tell at least live that he kind of leaned into it. There is a case that if a player leans into a ball to get hit on purpose, that is an automatic out. As Jace hits William, there was no need to lean in there as that one hit William right on the right buttocks, or maybe right above it, right on the hip. One of the two. Never thought I'd be saying buttocks on air. Nonetheless, that is the 9th batter in the hit, and now you bring up number 1 batter in the lineup. Back at the top of the order, Nico Taylor with bases loaded, tied game 9-9, 2 outs. Guys, this is what dreams are made of. This is what I used to dream of as a kid when I was 7, this scenario. I gotta be honest, when I was in this dream, it was usually a full count. And always, I won the game. So let's see if Nico Taylor can do that for the Rattlers here. The mine was always in the bottom of the inning, so it was a walk-off. But here he is, strike 1. Now it's 1-1 count, ball a little low. Righty here, swings, it's a chopper. Brady decides not to tag, but instead throws it to first and will get the out and get them out of this sticky situation of bases loaded. The second time this game, the Tigers have gotten out of bases loaded scenario, actually the second time in a row, and that will leave the game tied 9-9 as the Tigers have a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 8th in the first extra inning of this game. Getting back into this game, J.D. Raniero batting in the 9th hole right now. He's up to bat to start off the bottom of this 8th inning as Joseph Fiorino. Yes, I said his name right, I believe, for the first time. This game starts his at bat with a strike. 0-1 count. Joseph will look to try and extend this game into a 9th inning. Something that this division does not play. Usually it's only 7 innings per game. But right now they're in the bottom of the 8th. Joseph shakes off the first pitch suggestion, and JD shows bunt. JD will bunt that pretty bunt right between the pitcher and the third. JD, unfortunately, will be a step behind the ball, and that is out number 1 for the Rattlers. As the top of the order comes around for the Tigers, Caleb Evans will be coming up. That bunt from JD was almost perfectly placed, a little bit more infield than you might want to like to do it, as sometimes you like to let it ride down that third base line. A great defensive play by Mark at third to get him out at first. And here comes Caleb Evans, who has the 1 homer for the Tigers right now. As he looks to hopefully be the hero of this game. That pitch is inside for ball 1. If Caleb Evans were to hit this and win the game, that would be his 3rd homer in 2 games. 2nd of this game specifically. All of which were solo shots. And Joseph puts that in, and that is a hit into left field, but it is caught by the Rattlers left fielder. I believe that is Nico Taylor in left field. And now you're looking at, once again, 2 outs as Colin Moriarty comes into bat, hopefully being the savior that the Tigers need right now. Once leading 9-3 in this game, now all of a sudden they see themselves 9-9 in the bottom of the 8th. 1 out away from going into the 9th inning as Joseph winds up, pitches and delivers, and there's Collins' hit, and that is into the right center, but it is a catch made by the center fielder of the Rattlers. A half-diving sliding catch, and just like last inning, the outfield shows up and makes a play, but it seems like the center fielder might be slightly shaken up on his dive attempt, but he will be coming in. Looks to be okay now. Seems to be just a play of who can make the best play for the Rattlers outfield right now. But that will take us into the top of the 9th. As we continue to look for a victor in this game. Stick with us, folks, if you're not watching. And if you have friends that have not been watching, put them on, because this will be a fun end to this game. Hopefully ending with purple and orange taking home a series sweep against the Rattlers. Welcome back to the world's longest game so far. I'm joking, we were probably far, far off from that. But this is an interesting game, which will be fun. As Jace Coleman stays on the mound for the Tigers. And Miles Green, number 6, the catcher for the Rattlers, will be stepping into the plate. Looking to spark, hopefully, what will be a run that so far in the last 2 innings they've had, but they just haven't finished it. That one is fouled off. Each of the last 2 innings, the Rattlers have had bases loaded, but have not been able to capitalize on those runs. At least once the bases got loaded. The first time it happened was at the end of a 5-run inning. Jace delivers, and that one is hit to the left side, but it is foul. Into the woods. A lot closer to us than I thought. And crashed into a few trees. Heard some branches and leaves crashing. There was a conspiracist around us. They might have thought that was Bigfoot, but nonetheless, it was only a foul ball from Miles Green, who hits that one to the left, and that again is sent into the woods. Yesterday was the highway, today is the woods. Now we will be sitting looking at Jace Coleman, who will be delivering another pitch to an 0-2 count that Miles Green is facing. The breaking ball goes outside for a 1-2 count. Jason on the mound agrees to a pitch. Delivers it in, but that is outside for ball 2. So here's Miles Green looking, try and get on base. Spark a little bit of a rally as he hits that one. It goes to third and bounces past Brody. Tough ball to get. In and backing him up in the left field. Gets the ball back into short, and just like last inning, here we go. Starting off with a single from the Rattlers. As Rashad Cohen will be stepping up to try and advance Miles Green to another base, whether it's second, third, or possibly even home. Jace Coleman peeking over at first. Miles Green with a decent lead, but not too aggressive. As that ball is over, and Miles Green will get second. Round to look to go to third. He will go third. Maybe he's trapped in between. He is not. He gets back to second. Stops before Colin throws it. And now the Rattlers are the runner in scoring position on second base. Off the wild pitch. Chase just needs to compose himself and be able to pitch it through, but Cohen's showing bunt. Might pull it away if the ball's not in the zone. Michael Pritchard comes all the way in, almost to the plate. Ready to defend. That ball is outside, 2-0 count. No outs. You wonder, will the Rattlers try to be aggressive? Last inning they weren't when the runner was on base, and I would assume they wouldn't on this go-round either, no matter how fast that runner is. And that is strike one. You could probably have their best base runner on there, but it's better to be safe than sorry if you have a runner on base in the extras. Chase will look to capitalize on a 2-1 count right now. Ball's in the middle. There's a bunt right in front of the plate. They were looking. Umpire says ball hit him before it left the box, meaning that it was a foul ball. My understanding is that if the ball hits behind the plate and then goes fair, it technically still is foul, as the lines only match up to the front corners of the plate. I think in that scenario, it hit the batter while he was still in the box before he could run. Meaning it was foul and will be the second strike of this at bat. Now you're looking at a 2-2 count. For Cohen, you're just trying to survive and get the runner to advance. But instead, that will be up towards us. Might hit our tent. Goes over our tent. Luckily, still not in the highway. The fan sprints over to get it. So this count will still be 2-2 for Cohen. Once again, he's just trying to advance him. You just got to get Miles to third if you're looking for the Rattlers. Tigers, you're just trying to get this out. That one seemed to be close, but a little bit outside. It's a lot more outside than I thought. Now I'm looking at the plate. Now you're looking at a full count, 3-2 with the runner on second. Pitch is in, and that is in the middle, but that is up in the air. Going towards third. Brody calls it off, makes the catch. Just like that, the Tigers have their first out of the inning and keep the runner from advancing. Now, if there's one person you do not want to see with a runner in scoring position, it is Michael Daniels. Last inning, he did get out. He did get out in the last inning, but he has been pretty phenomenal, having, I think, 3 or 4 RBIs, if I remember correctly, as this one comes in and hits him. And now you'll have a runner on first and second. With a sole home run hitter right now, who has been on fire in these last 2 at-bats after a cold start, going 0 for 3 in his first 3 plate appearances. Wellington Henn has had a homer 2-run shot that sparked a 5-run comeback in the 7th, and then had a single to start off in the extras last inning. So Tigers will look to come in and replace, I believe, Jace Coleman with possibly J.D. Raniero, who's coming off. Maybe grabbing a new glove, possibly out here. No, I apologize. They're bringing in the lefty, Caleb Barnell. Caleb Barnell came in to start Game 2 yesterday. And when talking with Kendall, he said Barney, as his nickname is on the team, seems to be kind of like a power play they have out here. Kind of like an ace up the sleeve. But we will let you guys be as Caleb warms up, and we will get back to you guys when the play resumes. All right, as we're back in, Caleb Barnell sets up to make his first pitch against Wellington Henn, who strokes that one once and get into right center. A diving attempt is missed in the right field. It was a very tough ball to hit. 1 run will score. A 2nd run will be coming around. Michael Daniels, as Wellington goes into second, they'll be throwing this to the cutoff. Michael Daniels comes in to give a 2-run lead to the Rattlers, as Wellington gets a 2 RBI double with only 1 out in the inning. Now the Tigers are facing a 2-run deficit. This is the Rattlers' first lead since the top of the first inning. And they were up 1-0. Time was called. I believe Wellington's returning some type of hitting gear, whether it's a arm guard or a leg guard. Wellington returns to the bag, and play will resume as Carter Room steps in at the plate. Look, show bunt. Will not bunt, and that pitch will be in the zone for a strike 1. Not exactly the first pitch that Caleb wanted to Wellington, but hopefully he can kind of calm down. The shortstop and catcher come in, Colin and I believe that's Caleb Evans, come in to give a little bit of encouragement to Caleb Barnell. Now you just got to focus on getting the next out. It's a tough assignment for Carter Rooms, or when you're facing Carter Rooms. Caleb gets set. Sends that one in, and Carter goes chasing. Inside, that is strike 2. Caleb looks to pick his pitch. Set, winds up, throws it in. Somehow must have been a little outside or a little too low for the umpire's liking, and that was ball one. We got a 1-2 count. Rattlers still have a runner in scoring position with only one out. Caleb checks the runner. Throws it in. And that is strike three right on the outside corner, and Carter Rooms is retired. He's making 2 outs this inning. As Mark Hohen is up to bat. Again, just like last time, this seems to be the area of the lineup. Although it's the bottom of it, seems to be getting the most rallies in this game. As that one is hit right back to the pitcher, but passes him, gets into the shortstop. Caleb gets it, throws it, and Mark is out at first. And that will retire the side, but it did not come without a little bit of pain, as Tigers are now down 2 runs and have 3 outs to hopefully get the lead back, or at least tie the game and send it to another extra inning. Here we are going to the bottom of the 9th. Tigers facing a 2-run deficit, losing 11-9 right now. This Michael Moran is up to bat. Joseph Fiorino had it last inning, didn't have it this inning with the last name. He is up pitching, and again, his first pitch is a strike. Michael will be looking to give some hope into this Clemson Tigers team. As Michael strikes that one back to the pitcher, but it hits off his glove, and Michael may be able to outrun it. And he does, and that ball will go past first baseman, but bounce off the fence right back to Cohen, who is the first baseman for the Rattlers. And Michael starts off the inning with a single. As Brody Sandi is stepping up to the plate, hopefully looking to extend, or at least advance, Michael to another bag. Joseph will get set. Deal a pitch. That's a curveball. A little high up. Pump fake to first. Michael does not seem to be getting an aggressive stance. It's fair play, considering you have to be conservative and get 2 runs, not just 1, just to tie the game. Only standing about maybe a step and a half off. That pitch is also out wide. 2-0 count. Brody will be looking. And if he can get on base here, if Brody can get on base and join Michael, the winning run will be Michael Pritchard, who's at the bag. He's on deck right now. With no outs, ball in the middle, but that will be called a strike right on the outside. We had a 2-1 count for Brody. This Rattlers team seems to have a whole new life right now, after being down 6 runs at one point in this inning, or in this game, I should say. Now having a 2-run lead. As Brody sees it, hits it, but it is foul. Tips off the end of the bat and goes behind the catcher. Looking at a 2-2 count, Brody's going to have to try and be a little bit more defensive, or at least aggressive around the edges of the strike zones, considering that may be where Joseph tries to do it. And he does hit that one up, and that one is going as a pop-up to left field, who will look to make the catch. He does, and will keep Michael at first and give the Rattlers their first out of the inning. They're now only 2 outs away from getting a win, at least preventing the series sweep for the 21st ranked Tigers. So as Joseph gets set to try and get the second out of this inning, Michael Pritchard will be up. Michael Pritchard's been a tough out this inning, or this game, I should say. It looked to be a balk and send Michael Moran to second, giving the Tigers a little bit more hope, putting a runner in scoring position. Umpire in the infield is explaining to Joseph that he must have stopped his momentum, which you're not allowed to do unless you step off the bag. If you do, it does advance all the runners on the base. So now Michael, it does take out the opportunity to get a double play, or at least it makes it much more challenging. Michael Pritchard is there. He swings. It's going to be a little bit of an off-speed pitch. Got by Michael there. Pritchard now looking at an 0-1 count. Moran sitting on the second base. There's a little bit of a lead, very conservative lead. Pritchard will swing and hit that one into right field. Looks like the right fielder will be under it. Michael decides not, as that throw comes straight into third. What a throw by the right fielder. He's had some phenomenal throws during this game. As Moran is held at second, and now the Tigers looking at their last out with Jace Coleman, the leadoff batter from the first game yesterday. He's coming in, hopefully trying to be the hero, maybe get at least Michael in, if not both of them, to extend this game to a 10th inning. Got to think if you're Clemson, you're going to be very conservative in your base running opinions. He hits that one. It's a chopper to first. First base will run it out. And the Rattlers will win this game in extra innings, 11-9. Clemson, who had a 6-run lead at some point in this game, it was right before the 7th inning started. They were up right before the 5th inning, they were up 9-3. Before the 7th inning, they were up 9-4. And then a 5-run top of the 7th. Ties of the game, give the Rattlers some hope and some new momentum. They're able to capitalize it on the top of the 9th, where they score 2 more runs and take the lead, and then get 3 straight outs after giving up a hit on the very first batter in this inning. That will be the game and the series. Although the Rattlers did win this series, all they did was prevent the sweep, as the Tigers did take 2 games yesterday of the 3. And that will be the Tigers' last home game of this season, and they will close out their home game stretch with a 10-3 record over the course of 13 games. That is it from us here at Dawson Park. I'm Brian Warner. I hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you enjoyed some of the extra baseball you got to watch and witness. Though it did not fall the Tigers' way, it was still entertaining nonetheless. And that is all here from Kalani Media. We appreciate you guys, and as always, go Tigers.